so reminder, I have played Final Fantasy IV before. I've actually played it many times. This was my second ever RPG after Earthbound. I went and rented it, and I enjoyed it very much. I have not played the DS version before, so the DS version, any 3D version, is new to me. I think I've pretty exclusively played the original SNES version that we called Final Fantasy II back in the day. So I think the most recent thing that I found out was that apparently Yang had blonde hair in the original Yoshitaka Amano concept art, and they made his 3D sprite with blonde hair too, and I'm not sure how I feel about blonde mustache Yang. But, you know, whatever, that's cool. I meant to say 2 hours, that's right. My bad. Misspoke. We were on Mount Hobs. Just recruited Yang, right? Yeah, he's in the party. Felt like 2 minutes. It was pretty crazy. We got his SoundCloud taken care of. We're working on getting his music onto like Spotify, but it's trickier than we were anticipating. Don't think I can put these enemies to sleep. Maybe I can confuse them. I think I mentioned this a lot last time, but I really appreciate how this game managed to capture the look of the original sprites from the Super Nintendo version, while still doing something a little bit different. Looks like you are actually able to confuse these things, right on, take it. What's the free enterprise randomizer runs? It gives you access to the airship early and then randomizes the game from there? Yeah, I can share the FamiTracker version in Discord later without the fake bit stuff from FL Studio. No problem. Airship immediately, and you get to set tags to determine whether how randomized bosses, key item locations, chest shops, and characters are. You know, I'm really interested to see whether, like, randomizers like that are going to follow a release trajectory where, like, we're going to see the most randomizers for older games. Because, like, the most recent game that has a randomizer community I can think of is probably Dark Souls, right? You'd have to have a group of people who are super into it, and you have to have like a speedrun community that's practically tapped out. TS 2007. Yeah, this is a remake of the original game for 4. So 4 was originally released in the US as Final Fantasy II for the Super Nintendo, and 6 was originally released as Final Fantasy III for the Super Nintendo. We never technically got 5 in the US before the Game Boy Advance and the PS1. So I have played the Super Nintendo version many times, and I've never played this version. Now there's a bomb. Shit. Can I change who's acting? I can turn on auto battle. I'm gonna do that. Actually, maybe I do want to do that. Get Life's Anthem, crack Ice Rod for free. I might set Yang to auto-use Kick. Use an Ori randomizer. Dark Souls is based on item placement. That's what they do, which is a very interesting way to approach it. It gives everyone a region, if I recall correctly. I wish I could see everyone's max hit points on the bottom screen. There's like so much room. Okay, I can press Y to skip turns. Yeah, the PSP remake is, it looks like RPG Maker graphics, and like the FF6 remake looks like it's just bad. The iOS mobile remake. It's like part of the issue is that the original game is a really dark color palette. It's when Square was exploring with using a more realistic color palette. So any attempt to remake it kind of has to preserve that. You run into that problem with the GBA version of Final Fantasy VI, where the GBA screen was too dark for the color palette of FF6, so they like upped the saturation and it looks really bad. I would still probably say, having played this so far, that the definitive version of FF4 and 6 is still the original Super Nintendo version. The main thing I'm enjoying about the DS version right now, and the main reason I'm playing it, is the updated localization, because like FF4, 5, and 6, they weren't terrible as far as localizations go, but it was still before, you know, developers were taking that seriously. Some of its more infamous localization missteps are pretty funny. I think that enemy still counts as being... Oh, maybe it is Ice Elemental. Alright, I guess I'll try casting Fire on it. Nope, it's still Fire Elemental. Counter self-destruct. Alright, bye, Edward. Hey, he survived it. Yeah, I guess what I mean to say is, the SNES, the Super Famicom version is definitive. If you were able to play the Super Famicom version with like an updated translation. But right, Final Fantasy II definitely has a lot of issues. Can't deny that. Let's heal. Does anyone know, is it possible in this version of the game to show the party members' max HP on the battle screen, or no? Hey, I do like the map completion bonuses. Forgot about that on the earlier maps. A neat way to utilize the DS. The main enemy on Mount Hobs is the Mom Bomb, right? Which we finished off last time. They're on auto battle. I don't like Yang's blonde mustache. Enemies that have a counter ability are, I guess they're sometimes new. It's kind of a new mechanic, isn't it? Like, I think there were enemies that would counter attacks in the original release, but I don't know if it ever popped up on the screen telling you it was happening for that reason. I'm gonna start using an item or a cure spell. Okay. Good job, team. Now, somebody said that the way the augment system works in this game is that I need to equip augments to party members that I know are about to leave, and that will cause them to evolve. Is that how that works? It's awful sounding, but... I think we want to do settings. There's auto battle. Maybe it's something I specify when I'm in combat. That might be right. Here we go. Auto battle command. We want that to be kick. Ice Rod is fine. I can't specify Ice Rod like... I don't think I can specify having the Ice Rod target all enemies. I think you can only target one at a time regardless. Life's Anthem. Maybe put her on Prey. Although Prey can fail in this game, can it? EMP Restoration's pretty good. Give an augment when they leave, and give more if they have more equipped. So with Edward, he give you Bard Song later by default. He also give Hide and Salve if he has 2 augments on him when he leaves. How many augments am I able to have at this point in the game? Because I think I've only found 1. I got an auto potion augment. It's a neat idea. It sounds like, from like a completionist perspective, it's pretty awful though, right? Because I think you have to beat the game 3 times to get all the augments. I think when I asked last stream we clarified that they did not rebalance the game assuming augments, so they can trivialize it. Auto potion's the only one I can have now. Okay, gotcha. Roger, roger. Oh, there's all that empty space on the bottom screen. Just let me see their max HP and MP. Oh. Some people's Final Fantasies. Yeah, right. Yeah, since there's no way for me to know like what the rewards are for departing party members, I'm gonna suspend my spoiler policy relative to that. You guys can just tell me what I would get for a departing party member. And that's fine. Target the bomb. Good job. Proud of you, Rydia. Keep it up. This is one of the first games. The orientation of FF4's storyline was really different at the time that it came out, because it's a lot of like, you have a fixed party of 5 members, or I should say a maximum party size of 5, and then the people that are in that party rotate out constantly. I think the only constant is Cecil. Unlike Final Fantasies 1, 2, and 3, where you had the exact same party of 4 people. Well, I guess Final Fantasy 2, you had a fixed set of 3 members, and you had like a rotating guest character, right? Don't have to worry about too much to the twins. Okay. And then 5 went back to the fixed party, which I think worked really well for that game. And then 6 had an ensemble cast where your POV would often change. There's no main character in 6. I think that's part of why 6 is my favorite game. And then unfortunately after that, basically 7, 8, and 9... well, no, I'm sorry, 7, 8, and 10, all of the party members are basically the same. They just have different limit breaks. It doesn't really matter who you use, because basically carbon copies of each other. 9 has unique and different party members. And then 10, they're carbon copies, except for Yuna and for everybody's, limit breaks. I have to give 2 augments to one of them. They both have to have at least 1 augment to get all their goodies. Okay. So I have to give each of them 1 augment, but if I give 2 augments to one of the twins, nothing happens. Let's see. That makes sense. The original release of Final Fantasy IV, when characters would leave your party, it was generally permanent. And sometimes they would leave and come back later in the game, but for the most part, it was a one-time thing. And then I don't really like how the remakes and re-releases kind of retconned that. Yeah. I think that's a good approach to it. It's kind of like a combination of 6 and 4 Chocobo, where it has the shifting perspectives of 6, but then you're much more limited for most of the game. Stench of Chocobo pervades the air. Did I buy some greens last time? I don't think I did. No, I should fix that. I don't really need the... If you summon the Fat Chocobo, does he recover your MP? Is that how it works in this game? It's been a minute. Got you, Chocobo. One of the twins has to have 2. Okay. You have 2 augments to one of them, the other one can just have 1, and that's enough. Does the game broadcast that at all, or is it kind of like a, hey, this is a bonus mechanic for somebody who's played Final Fantasy IV before and knows about party members leaving so they can time when to equip them with stuff? I wonder if that was even discovered like on this re-release's launch. White Chocobos are restoration, Fat Chocobos are minigames. Okay. Doesn't tell you about it at all, oh my god. That's extra messed up, right? Because the prevailing wisdom of someone who had played Final Fantasy IV before would be like, oh, I know that this party member is about to leave, so I better remove everything that's equipped to them. It's the absolute opposite. Mm-hmm. Great Legends of Localization thread on this game explains a lot of the differences in localization from the original Japanese, Final Fantasy II for the Super Nintendo, the GBA version, the PS1 version, and sometimes this version. Apparently, like, these guys have always been designed to be like bald monks with the ash marks on their head, like Krillin. But their original sprites were kind of confusing looking. A lot of people thought they just had weird helmets. Mm-hmm. I was worried about them remastering the soundtrack, but so far it's been pretty faithful to the original. I still prefer like the 16-bit chiptune sound. I'm still floored that Jammingway was supposed to always be a rabbit. I just thought he was a weird-looking nerdy dude with glasses. Now he's placed all throughout the game. Living Way became Recording Way, the journalist. Oh, is this like a way to rewatch cutscenes? A little thing on the bottom screen. It's funny. Okay. No, I'm fine. Is there something in the nearby Chocobo forest that's connected to Jammingway? That wouldn't have been in the original release of the game. I think you see him in the first town, and then not again until like virtually the end of the game. Maybe what he means is now you can talk to the fat Chocobo and also rewatch cutscenes. I think that's what that means. Alright, let's buy some Peaceall greens. 5 is probably enough for most of the game. Oh, he actually goes to the Chocobo Forest? Okay, I'll just go straight there then and worry about it. Really? It kind of reminds me of the Kupo Nut chain from FF9 right now. Leeward, I think you mentioned you haven't played 4 before, is that right? Give a previously on summary of the story so far. Yo. Keeping filming. Recording Way became Camping Way, the Woodsman. Are there permanent missables in this quest? Like we have to trigger each step of the side quests in the town that we're in? Sure, here's a tent. Give me all of them. Oh, that's rude. I think each tent costs like 500 or 1,000 gil or something. That's miserable. Should have gone and sold the rest of them. Alright, so plot so far. Cecil, which I've always pronounced as Cecil, so I apologize when I get that wrong. Cecil is a Dark Knight. He's from the Kingdom of Baron. He used to be head of this like airship squad for Baron. They used to be good people. There's 4 different elemental crystals in the world. This was back when Final Fantasy was still about the crystals. Fire, air, water, and earth. King of Baron suddenly one day decides to be an asshole and wants to go steal all the crystals from everybody else. So he sends Cecil and the Red Wings, his airship team, to this other kingdom called Mysidia to steal their crystal, and they like murder a bunch of people over there. And then Cecil is moody, because what Final Fantasy protagonist isn't moody, other than, I guess, Zidane. He's all moody and angsty about it because he didn't want to kill those people, so he tells the king that he kind of disagrees, and the king's like, well, fuck you then. I'm going to send you on a shitty mission. You can't captain the Red Wings anymore. I'm gonna grind a little bit while I explain this. I kinda wanna make sure I'm above level. We're cutting it close to that mom bomb earlier. So Cecil sets out with his buddy Kain. Kain is a dragoon, and if you can believe it, is even angstier than Cecil is, because both of them love the same woman, Rosa, Cecil's girlfriend, fiance, who's in our party right now with a kind of absurd outfit. I think her outfit's more absurd than I imagined it being in the SNES version. So they're sent to deliver a package to a town of summoners. That's what the green-haired girl is. She's a summoner. And when they get there, they open the package and it's a bomb, and it like burns the city to the ground and kills all the summoners except for the little girl. So Kain disappears during that event. Cecil takes, the girl's name is Rydia with the green hair, back with her. She gets all upset, but he takes her under his wing. They visit this desert town where they find that Cecil's girlfriend Rosa went out looking for him, and she's like sick. So he has to go find the cure to her illness. He meets up with this old sage dude named Tellah. Tellah is not in our party right now, but he was really upset because apparently his daughter ran off with some bard who's actually in our party right now. His name is Edward. And we found the bard. The bard actually turns out to be a prince. So, of course, Tellah goes from being mad that his daughter's dating a rock star to being very pleased with it. But he can't be pleased for long because his daughter just died, because the kingdom that Edward is a prince of is also where the fire crystal is kept. Is that right? Mysidia had the water crystal. Edward had the fire crystal. So Baron, the country that Cecil's from, sends the Red Wings in and they attack Edward's castle and they steal the fire crystal. They nuke the place to the ground, and Tellah's daughter dies, so he gets all pissed off and he leaves. So Edward knows about how we can cure Rosa. He helps us go to this cave where we find an antlion that has some thing that you can get that cures Rosa's illness. So we get the thing to cure Rosa, we fix her up, we get her in our party. We're trying to figure out what the hell's going on with Baron, why the king is being such a dick and stealing all these crystals. So we're gonna journey further and try to warn the other kingdoms that are about to be attacked before Baron shows up and steals their shit. Meanwhile, we find out that there's this new guy on the scene named Golbez that the king has hired to replace Cecil as the leader of the Red Wings. So I don't think we've actually met Golbez yet or seen him in any cutscenes, but he is like this general guy that's running the Red Wings and helping them to steal crystals from other kingdoms. So the most recent thing that's happened is we're trying to come to this new town, Fabul, I think it is. It's kind of like an eastern nation. And on our way there, we met this guy, Yang, with the weird blonde mustache. And their kingdom has the... Do they have a crystal? I think we're trying to warn them because we're warning them about Baron's campaign of conquest over the world. Pretty sure they have a crystal, but I'm not 100% sure. So we just got to Fabul. We just got Yang in our party. We're going to go be like, hey guys, watch out. The Red Wings are about to show up and steal your shit. Did the KH3 release date already change? That's probably enough grinding for now. Is there an announcement today? I don't think it's coming out in 2018. I'm not gonna like commit to eating a hat or something if it does, but I'll be very surprised. Q4. I won't believe that Kingdom Hearts 3 has been released until after I've beaten it. The Tabasco sauce thing with the guy with Fallout 76. That was cool. You think there's just a delayed at E3? And the people we've talked to in Fabul so far don't believe that they're in any danger. They're like, no, we got our shit together. Why would anyone come attack us? Our main force annihilated? Surely you can't mean that. No, it's gonna happen. Aren't they in for a surprise? Right. Yeah, I didn't say that. Usually the policy for games that I'm playing that aren't blind is that there are sometimes people in chat who are watching who are blind. So if we want to talk about stuff that's coming up, let's try to be cagey and vague about it and not just be like, oh yeah, you know, when Darth Vader reveals that he's Luke Skywalker's father. When the big reveal happens, let's say that instead. Upgrade for Young. I kind of want to get all of these to swap them around. Does anyone remember how combat equipment swapping works in this game? Does it consume a turn? Is it even possible? I feel like you could change weapons for free. Hey, thanks, Six Gun. Appreciate it, man.
You're super awesome.
Thanks. Appreciate that. So Six Gun deserves extra props in this particular case because he is exclusively a Twitch Prime subscriber. If you don't know, if you subscribe to Amazon Prime, you get to subscribe to a streamer for free. But the pain in the ass about it is that you have to manually activate it once a month. You can't just set it to auto-renew, and I believe the reason for that is so that people aren't like stealing their grandma's Twitch Prime account and subbing to some streamer that will never be watched, you know, trying to make sure you're actively watching the stream. And despite only ever subbing on Twitch Prime, Six Gun has maintained his subscription for 12 consecutive months, even during the hiatus, so clapped for being on top of that. I think you've nailed it like to the day every time, too. A game about pastoral animal spirits in rural Japan, like for a tabletop game for you to run for your sub-block? That'd be super rad, for sure. Yeah. I'd be on board. Golden Sky Stories. What all am I allowed to consume about the setting, or should it be as little as possible? Like, can I read a rulebook for it beforehand? That would be super different from anything I've ever done, so that would be really fun. PC version does consume a turn to re-equip. Okay, thanks. I assume it works the same way then. Since the PC version is basically a port of the DS version, isn't it? Holy arrows. Oh, that's right, you can equip 2. That might end up bad for me, though. Because what if... well, I guess I can swap them. Whatever. How many holy arrows do I... I have 1 holy arrow, okay. Yeah, thanks, thanks a lot, George Lucas. The combat rules from Golden Sky Stories. If you get in a fight, the town will be sad. Oh, that's great. Very like Undertale. I'm sure someone's made an Undertale tabletop setting. Trying to figure out how you would, like, what your rules would be. Sure. Nani? That's actually a pretty good recreation of the original sprite thing that happens. It's a dancer from behind and then becomes one of these guys. Get it, dude. Huh. They put some extra effort into those dance sequences. Kind of got that traditional JRPG problem of hyper-objectification of women, but at least it's equal opportunity there with the muscular monk guy doing the dancing. Alright, what do we got? I think I just got an item to drop. I didn't see what it was. I'm gonna optimize everyone again. Come on, talk to me, lady. Monks can handle any threat. It was a Bacchus wine? Okay. And Bacchus wine gives haste to a party member? Oh, it's Berserk. My bad. I guess that makes sense. What's consumable haste, or is that even a thing? Hey, it's His Highness's bedchamber, so let's, like, rob him. Just let me sleep in his bed? Seems rude. Oh, Hermes is a consumable item in this? Hermes sandals? No kidding. Huh. I've gotten used to it being like an actual equipable piece of gear. Oh, I didn't look at the description. Oh wait, you're talking about the bed? Oh, okay. I got you, sir. Hen gay like a chicken that's happy. That's delightful. No, it sounds super fun. Good call, Six Gun, picking something different. How many subblock hours have you banked now? I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me. Bomb fragments, Nordic wind, ocean. 5. This is the Castle Infirmary. Nope. Gotta get used to, like, spamming the A button next to anything that looks like it might be an art object, art asset. I think I've missed almost all of the hidden walls, because I forget where they were in the original game. There's a trick to seeing them in the original game. I don't think there's any trick in this one. Okay, that sounds good. I'll work with you to get it scheduled. Probably gonna be a weekend thing, right? Is there an ideal number of players? Hey, it's Yang's wife. Or it's Cecil O'Baron. So, Yang's wife was localized as being like a hick. Like she said y'all a lot in Final Fantasy II. I should find the Legends of Localization thread for Fabul. Kind of goes into why that happened. I think she's supposed to come off more as like Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball. Oh. That's a miserable achievement, Yukupo. I didn't know that was in... Ugh. Beat it without continuing? Man. Yeah, so you can think about different games and the toxicity of their achievements, right? It's like, is that really an interesting achievement to have done? It's sort of like permadeath in Fire Emblem. Like, at the end of the day, everyone's just going to reload their save, right? I haven't yet played a tactical RPG that handles permadeath in a way that's actually interesting and doesn't heavily incentivize you to reload. What happens in Wild Arms 3, Aki? Who might they be? Castle must be secured and quickly. Now he's calling me out for being a Dark Knight from Baron itself. I already lost my men and fought for my own life when they came upon me. Could have stood and watched me die, but they aided me instead. You must believe us. Oh god. Yeah, I did the same thing before I started streaming. I would never press the continue button. I would always soft reset the instant a game over screen popped up and load the save, just in case there was any penalty for continuing. Oh, really? So can you soft reset as you take critical damage, like before the game over screen plays? There's a lot of games where I've never seen the game over screen because I would soft reset the instant my health was depleted. I will aid you in your defense, of course. Did a pretty good job of making the original King of Fabul sprite in 3D. Kingdom's fate is in your hands, man. Their fate was in your hands. Oh, I didn't know about that for Snake Eater. Counts kills before you died. So if you kill somebody and then die and continue and don't kill the same guard, it still counts. Screw that. I forgot to full heal the party before this. Edward's like almost dead. They're weak against kick damage? Oh, they're probably weak against whatever elements his claws are. Did they like super nerf kick in Final Fantasy II? I feel like kick used to kind of suck in terms of damage dealt. Oh no, maybe that's just how many hit points Edward has. Yeah. I like Undertale just winking at you. So they even dialogue, it knows that you did it. Status effects apply as well? Holy shit, so if you have a weapon that applies poison, it'll poison all enemies? That's nutty. I remember always wanting to use kick because it felt efficient to hit all enemies in Final Fantasy II, but then it would like do no damage. Is there a kick augment as well? Get him. Do you have multiple copies of the same augment? I think FF4 is one of the better boss battle themes. 6 is probably my favorite normal boss battle theme. Sort of Mario RPG, fighting Keelex. So I remember that blew my mind in Mario RPG because for whatever reason I never noticed publishers. So I didn't realize that it was made by the Final Fantasy people. Total shock. One augment, you get 2 by default. Okay. Probably an augment for an ability that 2 characters have access to. Twin. So you'd need 2 for it to work. You gain plus for multiples of the others. Okay. I'm surprised that they, I mean, I guess this is the most popular Final Fantasy in Japan still, right? It's kind of like how 6 is revered in the West, 4 is revered in Japan. They really like 3 too for the NES. Maybe they're like, oh, people like this so much that they're going to clearly want to play it like 5 times. So we should give them a bunch of New Game Plus benefits. Oh, well, sure, Dragon Quest, beyond Final Fantasy in its own category. That's no monk. Shenanigans. But looking just at Dragon Quest, or at Final Fantasy as its own series, I think that 4 might be the most popular. Kind of define modern JRPG design in a lot of ways. Oh, interesting. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Is that a run ender? Last stand in the crystal chamber. Actually, you know, maybe Edward's castle didn't have a crystal at all. They didn't have a crystal chamber. I think Baron just blew them up because they're dicks, trying to conquer the world. This is one of those instances where, like, they're making a narrative decision to have Baron overrunning us, but mechanically we're kind of kicking their asses, so we're not really feeling the danger. It's that problem where you're doing really well in a cutscene, or rather, you're doing really well in combat, but something, you get your ass kicked in the cutscene. You're like, what the hell? Could have handled that. I guess they'd have made you guaranteed to lose against these fights or something. So Yong's, one of his weapons inflicts confuse, it looks like. Which is great. Just confuses everyone. I wonder why they changed that. So the randomizer changes the stats for all enemies, like level syncs them? That's super cool. So you could potentially run into a boss from the end game. Hey, it's Kain! It's Cecil's buddy! What? He's betraying us! He's like my best friend / rival. He's the Gary to my Ash. Blue to my red. Hey, thanks for the host, Silverstar. If you're around, how's Final Fantasy VIII been treating you? I like the idea, because there's some enemies that have cool mechanics beyond just what their stats are. Let's turn off auto battle here. Even the map here is pretty close to what the Crystal Chamber looked like in Final Fantasy II, the original Super Famicom version. Blue tiles. Oh, that's not going to outpace him. I think I have to use high potions. This is the end, Cecil. Yeah, it was scripted.
Kain, even you now?
Oh, that's right, there's voice acting in this, I forgot.
Let me ease your suffering.
You'll do nothing!
Stop!
Rosa.
Kain, tell me you've not turned traitor.
Clothes are absurd. No reason for that. We've already seen other white mages in the game. They all have robes.
Don't look at me.
Kain, why do you now hesitate?
Golbez.
Golbez. We only heard of him until now.
You're him, the usurper.
The new
So,
captain of the Red Wings.
You are Cecil. Allow me to give you something. A gift to remember our meeting.
Cecil!
Is it really peach-colored fabric?
I did not come to treat you well.
Oh yeah, the new localization's way better than the SNES version.
Bring me the crystal.
My lord.
Don't do it, Kain.
So you're saying she's not dressed like a belly dancer? That's not skin.
Rosa, let it be.
Oh, you care.
Well, I've seen the official art, and I agree that in the art she's not wearing belly dancer outfit, but I feel like her sprite is.
To hold in trust.
Her model.
Till we are graced with the chance to meet again. Come, Kain.
Golbez's theme is pretty great. Evil guy music.
It would seem your life is spared for now.
Kain, wait!
We got our booty butts kicked. Womp womp. It's one of my favorite sad songs in the Final Fantasy series. Bummer music. Rachel's theme might be the top though from FF6. If I had visited the Fat Chocobo, there was a Rosa minigame? Wow. Okay, so if I had equipped Rosa with the only augment available to me, nothing would have happened, right? Because I need to have at least 2 for it to do anything. Let's keep playing the bummer music. I'm still bummed. Come on, game. Get your shit together. Maybe that's how they help me find secrets. I should check the map for chests that are unmarked. Although those potentially only display on known maps like a throne room. The main party members won't give augments. Oh, okay. So the ones that were canonically the final party members in the original release of the game won't. But the ones that they retconned to being able to rejoin your party will do it. Final Fantasy 14 levels of retconning. Let me see. Oh, is there still a fixed party at the end game? I could have sworn that, was it the GBA or the PS1 version added something where you could like change out your party members for the final dungeon. Okay, make that up. Interesting. Why not stay and rest? Oh, a free stay at the inn? Well, that just sounds swell. Let me stay at the inn for free. That means nothing bad's gonna happen, right? Nothing ever happens. I like how the king lives right above the weapon shop. The inn is over this way. Hey, buddy. You must be exhausted. Rest here all you like. I actually don't remember what happens after this point. My memory of FF4 is pretty solid for the first few hours up until around Mount Hobs, and it gets much fuzzier after that. I remember some key events. Okay, go find Sid. Okay. Get an airship. need a boat. Cool. His name is Kain. Ship is ready for you without delay. Aid them in any way you can. Take the sword. Belong to a dark knight who won Mysidia's lands. I think the translation in the original game said something about them having dark knights in Fabul or something. I remember being puzzled that he gave me that sword. A dark sword will never avail you against true evil. It is, after all, a weapon of darkness. What other games have Dark Knights? I guess Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 11. I guess Orin's kinda sort of a Dark Knight. I guess some Dark Knight-y abilities-ish. So, may cause instant death. Do you think the light will beat the darkness? No, I think that the darkness will defeat the light. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's got a couple abilities from different classes. I guess Samurai's pretty close. He has a bunch of guard breaks. The typical Dark Knight ability is damaging yourself to do damage to enemies. Ten-2 as a Dark Knight gesture. Yeah, or Gafgarian and FF Tactics. Okay. Oh, wait, could you not obtain Dark Knight as a class in the original release of Tactics? I forgot about that. I played, War of the Lions recently. You too, Cecil. Frying pan. Counter augment. Oh boy, I love counter. Put that right away. Oh, sure, but they're still comparable. But they wanted to give Gafgarian or something. Hey, Donovan, how you doing, man? Posse 4 for the win, DS for the lose. It's not so bad so far, other than Blonde Yang. Questionable voice acting. I am appreciating the new localization, but I still really, really like that. The Super Nintendo sprite art is my favorite graphical style, I think, in all the video games. The more games that do that, the happier I am. It's all Zipper Opera. Yeah. 358 over 2 days of Zipper Opera. You think it'll be worth watching those? Does it just have the cutscenes? Or can you actually play the game? I guess there's not a lot of, like, intriguing gameplay in that. FF3 Remake has a Dark Knight class? Ah, okay. Gotcha. How much of the Zipper Opera is summarizable in like 2 minutes? Maybe I can bring somebody on who's a Kingdom Hearts fan, but is also aware of its absurdity. We get in Discord and just describe it. Yeah, I guess we could do it kind of like Quantum Break. What? This is a sea creature? Possible. The Lord of all waters, Leviathan. Wait, so could I have equipped... Oh, no, okay, no. You answered this question already. Never mind. I won't stress.
Don't stand about! Reap the seals, you witless dogs!
this Leviathan's first appearance? Was he in FF3 or 2? I haven't played them in so long. Cutscenes like this, I have to admit, are kind of improved by the DS version, the 3D graphics. You had to use your imagination more with the original game. I forgot about this happening, but remember now, they just gave me the Death Sword. It's a 25 to 30 hour game that should be a 10-hour game. Yeah, they both are very stagnant, right? Don't really explore the design space at all. Oh, so much for that. Hey, if you're new to the stream, I'm Marstead. I'm trying to beat every awesome game ever made. I believe there's so many awesome games out there, it's impossible for any one person to play them all, but it means that we're never going to run out. If you'd like to see a list of all the games we played so far, you can go to games.marstead.com, and if you click on the voting tab, see how you can vote for the next awesome game. Final Fantasy IV is on the voting spreadsheet, and when it wins the vote, which it looks like it's in a good running to do so, I think it's in first place right now as of this bonus stream, we will play it to completion. Yeah, the map is nice. There's enough about this game that's nice that makes me hate it less. I wish I could have all of this stuff, except have it be the original graphics. Playing the bummer music again. So these guys used to be trivial because you would use Cecil's ability to just attack all enemies. The bonus for filling out dungeon maps is cool. Yeah. I gotta give him counter after this fight before I forget. Oh, do weapons and shields actually show on your character all the time? The shield looks different. I think the weapons have always done that, right? When they would attack. That's cool. That takes so much extra. That's very much like a bump the lamp thing in JRPGs. Equipment. It's probably... Wait a minute. Before I do this, can augments be freely equipped and unequipped? Or are they consumed permanently upon use? I think I do want Cecil to have counter. Shoot. Well, I'm trying to think who else would I give it to. Counter seems good on a tanky character, and one that does decent damage with their normal physical attack. Yeah. I guess let me know if I'm making a mistake. That was kind of cool, showing you Yang's wife. Yeah, sorry, Cecil. My bad. Got a lot of things wrong when I was a kid. I pronounced ethers as ethers. I said elixir, right? It's kind of hard to get wrong. Here, I'll make a counter. I'm sure I'll say it wrong again. Start from here. I'm trying to pair up augments to support each other rather than just which character's getting it. Counter just makes sense on physical characters. Alright, so the town that we're in right now is Mysidia, which is the town that Cecil invaded at the beginning of the game with the Red Wings, killed a bunch of people and stole their crystals. That's why this person just turned me into a toad. Because they hate me, because I'm a bad guy. Oh, okay. I feel like there... Wait a minute, hold on. I want to see the close-up of Cecil as a Dark Knight Toad. Look how cute he is! He's adorable! Okay. Yeah, right? You're like half the normal sprite height. Yes, I don't know why in the DS version they like put them into skimpier clothes when they start dancing. Dress was fine. I guess I do know why, but... I feel sleepy. Stylized 2D stick figure. Oh, she was actually an old lady all along. She turned me into a pig this time. Because I came here and murdered all their friends. Devil's Road crosses the Infernal Plane. I always assumed that the Devil's Road was like just like a literal underground path. Was it called Devil's Road in FF2? It couldn't have been because of the Nintendo censorship policy. It was like called the Serpentine Path or something. You murder everyone in a town one time, they never let it down. Oh, they got away with it? Right on. I seem to remember coming here and everything being, like, stupidly overpriced. Look at, like, the pig considering what to buy. Yeah. They couldn't do anything religious. The Home for Infinite Losers Road. I think I'm misremembering. I really seem to recall the shops all charging you way too much when you first got here. I might be thinking of Chrono Trigger does that, doesn't it? Yeah. I know that happens in Chrono Trigger for sure. Hey, Necromancer, how are you doing? The Dark Knight of Baron. Wow, they're really good at recognizing me. I was gonna say that Necromancer would be a pretty cool character class, but that was in Bravely Second, wasn't it? Face such a tragedy the second time. Catmancy. Basically a blue mage, yeah. Blue Mage is one of my favorite classes. It was really cool in Final Fantasy XI for all the problems of that game. Where the Dark Knight who came before. I love how I'm not a pig in the cutscene. My name is Cecil. Until recently, I served as Lord Captain of Baron's airship fleet. Orders that lack the courage to disobey. Hey, at least he is self-aware. Words don't heal wounds, nor do they restore life's flame. Do you see a glimmer of light in you? Hear your words. Stop a man named Golbez, who's taking control of Baron. He's made to rescue a friend he holds captive when Leviathan struck our ship. No doubt a part of the test has been ordained for me. You know about tests. Blue Mage is, you steal enemy abilities. I think the first Blue Mage was FF5? Go to Mount Ordeals in the east. Yeah, and then Strago is a blue mage in FF6. Enemy skill materia is in FF7. Quistis's Limit Break is Blue Magic in FF8. Queen is a Blue Mage in FF9, technically a Gourmand. No, but I'd love to design one for my setting, Yukipo. Would be super cool. Gao is also a Blue Mage, like a variation. Palom and Porom. That filthy Dark Knight from Baron. Young and still in their apprenticeship, but I can vouch for their abilities. What were Palom and Porom's name in the original Japanese, since they wouldn't be distinguishing between the L and the R? Param and Porom? The most esteemed magical prodigy. White Mage. Nice to meet you. It's doing the JRPG protagonist stance. If you have a cool DM, Yukupo, you can probably ask to design a Blue Mage with him. I don't know how amenable 5th edition is to wireframing your abilities, but you can kind of look at the stats of a class and then just kind of imprint the flavor of a Blue Mage onto those stats, you know? It was really easy to do in 4th edition because all the abilities are literally wireframes. You're just like, this is a Blast 3. Param and Porom, Palom and Porom. Can you de-pig me, please? No, apparently not. I have to stay in the inn to get it. Maybe if they transform me again, I'll get de-pigged. Oh, they're in the after years? Right on. Yeah, Pun is broken because of... So if you've never looked into this, even if you don't know anything about tabletop RPGs, Google the Pun problem. Oh, she doesn't de-pig you. That might just be the original game. The way the original game worked was pig and frog status were just a binary state. Either you were pigged or you were pigged. So if she pigged you and then you talked to her again, she would cast pig on you a second time and it would unpig you. Looks like they fixed that. I think staying in an inn still removes it. Anyway, you should Google, thanks, Akifall. Google Pun. It's a really interesting problem. Hey. Don't trust that man even for a moment. Pun the kobold, maybe? Hold on. I'll find it real quick. Oh, they also got pig? Palom and Porom? Oh, son of a bitch. Thanks. Rude. Because I don't have a lot of sources of pig. Oh, that works too, Leon. And then also look up the Omnicifer, which is an artificer that's designed to try to defeat Pun. Basically, it was an exercise in exploring that there was just way too much content for 3rd edition D&D. There were way too many rulebooks that had conflicting things that if you stack together, like no one wrote a rulebook assuming that anyone had access to all the other rulebooks. So Pun is this like broken, omnipotent character build that uses all of those extra materials. And then the Omnicifer is an even more broken attempt at it. Alright, well, back attacks aren't great, it turns out. Especially against the zoo. Open to Porom just dying instantly. Hey. Go back and stay at the inn again. Resting in an inn, cure death. I think cabins do, but not tents. Oh, it's great. So, Omnicifer, if I recall correctly, I'm doing my best. It's based on... It abuses an item, a really low-level item that gives you a bonus to your skill rolls. Let's see, can I not rest? This is the inn, isn't it? It's on the second. Okay, here we go. It abuses a thing that gives you a bonus to your skill rolls based on the amount of damage that you just took, and a series of items that allow you to create an infinite damage loop, and the fact that knowledge skills are instant, like they're free actions, and that a quirk in the rules for drowning that say that when you start to drown, your hit points drop to 0, and then when you stop drowning, you recover to 1 hit point. So, like, what they would do is you would craft this item that gives you a bonus to your skills that's based on the damage you just took, and then you would intentionally create this infinite damage loop, so you would take infinite damage by jumping off a cliff, which you would then have plus infinite to all skills, which normally doesn't matter because you're dead. You can't use skills while you're dead. But because knowledge skills are a free action, you can freely make every knowledge skill in the game so that your character knows everything, including the location of the kobold that will one day become Pun Pun. Right? And then somebody dunks your head in a bucket so that you start to drown, and then your health gets restored to 1 and you're okay. It wasn't something that a real GM would ever allow. It was just kind of a fun thought experiment to think about how broken exactly is 3rd edition D&D if you really think about all the material that's out there. And the answer was very. Thank goodness for gradual petrify. Hey, comments. Pretty good deeps. Does Twin cost any mana? I think it's free, right? But it doesn't always cast Comet. Sometimes it sucks. Oh, what's the Peasant Railgun? I haven't heard of that one. Twin is random. Okay. Comet's like probably the best result you can get. He does so much damage to these things. Can you unmini them? That'd be cool. You could go self-consistent. From using it a lot. Yeah. How does the Peasant Railgun work? Insta-death after I did 800 damage. Yeah. I had a campaign where we were playing with Deidrearchs. I remember my augment campaign is set up so that your job is not connected to your character's background. So he had the barbarian augment and decided to play as like a diplomat that had the barbarian augment. And it ended up whenever he would use a diplomacy check, he would go into a rage. Line up a few thousand peasants, give the first in line a pole. and use his turn to pass it to the next peasant. Have them all ready in action to execute during their turn to take the pole and pass it on, so the pole moves an incredible distance in the span of a single turn. Because of the way ready rules work. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. So you gotta have like a... Not that any DM would ever allow that, but if you're ever in a situation where you're worried that they might, you just gotta have an external rule to the game that just says that be reasonable, right? I'll have to tell Andrea about that one. I think it'll crack her up. I like that one because it's way simpler to explain than the Omnicifer or Pun Pun. Like, you kind of just get it intuitively with a single line. I like the Chocobo Forest because you can effectively heal up to full for free. Swell. White Chocobo restores mana. Caught you, White Chocobo. MP restored. Alright. Stench of Chocobo pervades the air. He doesn't play the Fat Chocobo song? Whoa, whoa, whoa! That's not okay. Okay, here we go. This is leveling up that weird character that Rydia has for some reason in this mode. I have a little image of the Fat Chocobo from FF4 as my Stream Deck icon for that sound effect. You want to see Fat Chocobo again, Andrea? Okay, hold on. He's not as cute as his FF4 variety. Wit's broken? Really? It's such a Square thing to add to their games. Look how fat he is. Hello there, there's something I can help you with? He's so fat, man. Andrea loves Fat Chocobo. Like, whenever I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV, if she sees me running around, she asks me to summon it. That one's particularly great. Because you use him as a mount, and you have to, like, have a fishing pole with some Gisol greens on the end of it to get him to move. Fat Chocobo has always been sapient, though, right? So is there one that has a dumb Fat Chocobo? He's in 4 and 9. I'm trying to remember if he was in 5 or... It definitely was not in 6. Trying to uncover the map. Fishing bowl with cake on the end to make it fly. How you doing, Andrea? Andrea came back from her trip to Palm Springs for science for like an evening. We met her down in Albuquerque to get dinner. She immediately got on a plane for another work trip for a different science conference. Done for the day? Nice. Mount Ordeals. I feel like I remember dying here a lot when I was a kid, when I was renting this game. I don't think I ever owned Final Fantasy II. They did a lot just through multiple rentals. Okay. I seem to remember a lot of the enemies on this mountain being dark elemental, but I don't think his sword does dark elemental damage, it just says instant death. To which undead enemies are immune. If you inflict them with instant death, it hits them, but then they immediately regenerate. Is that how it works? Nice. Good job, Andrew. You should be proud of yourself. Come on, kids. I have to uncover the map. Which is the opposite of my usual intuition, is to minimize random battles, right? In case I came here first, this is why. This is them gating us. Oh, modern Final Fantasy games are so linear. Ghouls will still take like 1 damage. Okay, gotcha. Is that unique to those swords, or are there other mechanics like that in the game? Scarmigglione. What was this guy's name in Final Fantasy 2? It was supposed to be named after demons in Dante's Inferno, right? Just his swords. Violet, etc. Let's become a paladin. Do you like that whole arc of Dark Knight to Paladin? Is she being hung from the ceiling? She is. Wow, okay. This is pretty close to the original cutscene from FF2 as well. 4 elemental archfiends, which I recently learned. I've heard of the 4 heavenly kings before because they're pretty popular in a lot of Eastern mythology. Like Andrew's pretty into Tibetan Buddhism, and there's a lot of stuff in there about them. Anyway, apparently, 4 heavenly kings has become such a common phrase in Japanese. You'll use it to describe virtually anything. Like your 4 favorite Japanese pop stars, even if they're women, will be the 4 heavenly kings of J-pop. Or, you know, your 4 favorite breakfast foods are the 4 heavenly kings of breakfast. Scarmillyoneh? Okay. Yeah, I don't know Italian at all. What are the other ones then? Is it still just Rubicant? Rubicante? Keep using Twin Cast. I don't want to activate Darkness here. Rubicante? Okay. I think I always said Rubicant as a kid. No, is it sweet? Can you link it in Discord, Ducky? One of the best specialized boss themes. It's unfortunate that it's followed up by the best specialized boss theme. Flash on the Big Bridge. Was it, is it Valvalis? I think that was how it was localized in FF2. I don't think that's actually what it's supposed to be called, though. Oh shit. Thanks. Babaricia. That sounds right. And then the water theme was something mezzo, right? this costing MP? I feel like they're almost depleted. 44-21. Not enough MP, okay. Well, I'm gonna pop back out and have the white Chocobo recover their MP, or this is gonna end badly. That's pretty brutal. Maybe use it for boss fights. I've just been spamming it. Shitano is 4 Heavenly Kings in Japanese. Alright, I like how fast they level up. They didn't quite make them level 1 like some other RPGs, but still kind of give you the feeling that they're underexperienced. Yeah, I really remember him doing 1 damage to all the ghouls here. I thought he was healing them. I feel like that's probably a good decision. Do they have any metrics on the number of people that died repeatedly in this zone? Reduce enemies' defense by half. That was their weakness. Pretty weak against that, too. Right. Yeah, they basically die instantly. Oh man, I'm gonna have to listen to it after stream. Intellect times 2. That's more of a flavor ability than anything, I guess. It's kind of the same as focus. Cry seems like it's actually a fairly good ability, huh? You know, I could probably have him use his rod to reduce MP cost. Should probably switch him back to the fire rod though, so it does more damage. Palom, Flame Rod, okay. And then abilities, Auto Battle Command, items, Flame Rod. Cool. Cecil, come on, buddy. There you go. It's a problem of it being 3D, right? Those pillars were just like filled up an entire tile in the original game. It made sense that they would block you. Really curious why they changed Darkness from being an AoE attack to buffing Cecil. Let's try... go ahead and use his Flame Rod. Oh, it's only a single target. Trivialize magic users. Oh, it could have trivialized a lot of later game because you could still get access to it because of the augment system. Right. It's balanced in the original because he doesn't have access to it for the whole game. I didn't even think of that. It's a good point. I think that every combat ability and passive in the game is available through augments. It seems like they added some passives that never were in Final Fantasy IV, right? But 4 didn't really have the concept of passives. Was that an FF5 idea, or was that as early as 3? I know 3 had the job system, but I don't remember if 3 had that complicated of jobs. Wit can use augments? Oh, interesting. Wit kind of works like Aeons in Final Fantasy X, right? Oh wow. The difference in their level just from the first encounter with the zoo and now. They're getting one shot before. It's wild. Should probably change the party order here. Oh, does the healing staff not heal enemies that you hit with it? Does it only heal if you target allies? That's different too. I see why they changed it. It's probably a waste of MP, but what are you gonna do? Wit is this really weird thing they added to this game. I don't know how I feel about it. It's like a special Eidolon that Rydia can summon. You like design it in the menu. You can change what its face looks like. And then you can play a map. I'll go do the Wit minigame really quick, just because it's super, super weird. Okay, if you remember it then. Oh, if you set healing staff to auto battle, it acts like a weak cure. Can I trigger it to be a weak cure without setting it to auto battle? Or is that unique to auto battle? I might do that actually. I like having the equivalent of like Banon's ability from 6. I see. I feel like I've played a Final Fantasy where you get a healing staff that heals the target you attack. And it could actually kind of get you in trouble. Hey, you missed, dummy. Thematically, I love that almost everything on Mount Ordeals is undead. Healing staff did that, okay. I think there was one in... I want to say Final Fantasy VI that did it too. It may have only been a single item though. Oh, they're immune to fire too. My bad. I should have guessed that. They kind of look like they're on fire. Wake up, dummy. So we don't actually want Palom using a flame rod here. Whoops. Oh, that's cute. So do I want to switch into the ice rod? I feel like the number of enemies that are actively weak against fire is pretty high here. Maybe not. Fight took way longer than it needed to, but that's okay. I like the font in this game. I feel like a lot of the remakes on the GBA and the DS are using this font. Alright, we're 96% map completion. Getting there. This corner is 97. Hey. There we go. 5 antidotes. What I really want is like gear. Womp womp. So if Palom's not an idiot on auto battle, there's an augment I miss item lore. Oh, that makes used items stronger. Is it permanently missable, or can I get back there and get it later in the game? I see, because then you're going to lose it when he trades out of the party, and it's not that punishing. Gotcha. Will I have enough augments? Will I have 3 augments to give it to twins? I don't really care about auto potions, I don't mind losing that one. If I trade one in, I lose it forever, right? Presumably. Until a medium plus playthrough, I should say. Okay, they're not undead, even though they look like it. Curse ring. I don't know how that works in this game. Can this mountain truly wash away my bloodstained past? I'm gonna go with no. Cursed. Huh. Was that in the original game? It just seems like it's bad. Is it a really rare drop? I know there's a couple 1 in 128 drops. Turns elemental resistance into elemental absorption at the cost of all of the stat downgrades. Basically. Gotcha. So I imagine there's some specific boss fights where that's important. Now when you say elemental resistance into absorption, you mean like if they have any gear that makes them take half damage, they still absorb all of the damage? That's really cool. Okay. Alright, poison shit. So they gave me the antidotes. Good job, game. Song gives me non-clinical PTSD. Right, extremely rare drop. Try not to die and lose it then, basically. Hey, it's my man! My dude. Probably the most accurate character to the original design. Game seeking Meteor 2. Oh, bummer, Aki. My 164 is not terrible. If that's per zombie. Hey, they revealed that they're actually spying on me. These kids. Make sure I don't do something super evil. Mysidian children, I see. Really? Only one enemy in each combat have the potential to drop it. Ooh, that sucks. It's worse than 164 per battle. Yeah, I thought you could get multiple item drops in the 2D version. Huh. Searching for the legendary magic of Meteor. There's a long lane sealed away and I know not where. I think this is the first game to establish Meteor as like a special ultimate black magic spell. And they expand on that a lot in Final Fantasy V in a way that I think is really cool. Meteor, Holy, and Flare, I think it is. I'm just trying it from a story perspective. It may have been a really strong spell in FF3, I don't remember. Played FF3, the DS remake only once, and I think I didn't finish it. Collar enemies run away if you try to abuse them. I see. Dark Sword can't slay Golbez, and I'm no level the lowest thing as it is. 1 second, guys. Cats are doing something bad, I think. Sorry about that, guys. I think I just had a smell glitch. I was sitting here and suddenly smelled a very intense smell of cat poop. And I thought maybe the cats were having trouble getting to the litter box room. It's technically in Jaden's room, closed off with a cat door, and then maybe they pooped down here. But I searched the entire living room and could not find it, and now I don't smell it anymore. So maybe my brain glitched out or something. Back to Final Fantasy. Thanks for that. Sorry for that. No, I know. Okay, off we go. I don't think I've ever had a smell glitch before, so maybe it's still somewhere and I just couldn't find it. But I don't smell it sitting here anymore. Pretty sure. I'm not that senile yet. It may have been that, this would be a weird answer, maybe Cameron just had her diaper changed near a vent and the smell is circulating through the ventilation system in the house and that's why it's gone now. It didn't specifically smell like cat poop, it just smelled like poop, so who knows. Hey, Tellah's all super buff now. I like his recall animation, that's cool. You were counting counter. Okay. Gotcha. But I'd have to give them item lore, auto potion, counter, and whatever. Or I guess those three, right? Cultist simulator? No. What will I be missing out on for not having the third augment? I'm guessing it's going to give me 2 twin augments. For Tellah being pretty buff here. Like how his magic is actually kind of suckier than Palom's at the moment. Ooh, dual cast revving 3 on both, which is only possible if you're on a second playthrough, I assume, right? Damn it, Tellah, why do you gotta be... Why are you the way that you choose to be, buddy? So Cry could potentially be pretty good, would be what I'd want, right? Maybe Bluff is good too for a caster. I see. Dual cast. I'm kind of bummed about not having that. What an important item. I think they leave the party in Baron, right? So, well, no, I already used counter, so that's already over. Oh. Never mind. Mm-hmm. Thunder, thunder. That's awesome, Leon. Oh, from the writer of Sunless Sea. Right on. I really like Sunless Sea. I'm just backtracking to make sure I got map completion here. I like having the map Fog of War too, because it helps you to not get lost. The encounter rate in Final Fantasy IV is fairly high, and a lot of the maps are fairly samey. It's possible to get turned around if you're not paying extremely close attention all the time. That's funny, Leon. Nice. Living the dream. I like that they show you cast bars in this. I don't think you got to see the cast bar in the original game, right? You just cast a spell and it would take a while and you wouldn't really know. Is it possesses... I got a second cursed ring? Oh my god. Okay. Ugh. It's like when I was watching Brewski play Dark Souls 1 and he got 2 Titanite slabs. I'm so sorry. I'm not even gonna get to use them, I don't think. It's even worse. Right? I have pretty strong memories of farming the endgame crap in the final dungeon. It's like the 1 in 255 drops. That stuff was like borderline Mew is hiding under the truck. Like, to the extent that I didn't really believe that it was real. But I think I read about it in a Tips and Tricks magazine or something, so I have better reason to believe it. The thing I don't like about the map percentage is that there can be tiny little chip corners of the map that you technically didn't uncover, and finding them it's kind of a pain in the ass. Whoops. Hopefully the fire will be enough. I think I asked this last time, but I forgot the answer. How does multi-target magic work in this game? Does it take... Actually, I think I'm remembering the answer now as I ask. I think there's 2 states. There's either you targeted one enemy or you targeted all the enemies. And it doesn't like divide a total amount of damage among the enemies. So it will do the same damage to 6 enemies as it does to 2, I think. But it will do more if you single target. Gotcha. Dude, we didn't have any money to subscribe to a magazine growing up, so I would always I would be super pumped if my parents needed to go to Walgreens, because I would come with them and I would go in the magazine aisle and I would bring a pen and I would write cheat codes from Tips and Tricks on the back of my hand and on my arms. I guess I could have brought paper in retrospect. I don't know why I put it on my hands, but whatever. Wasn't the brightest child. Hey, LitFX, how's it going? Stop making noises. Didn't make noises. Old school IP theft. Great. I was broke, I had no choice. It must have looked really weird, this, like, trashy-looking kid sitting in a aisle of a Walgreens reading a magazine without buying it and writing things down on his arm. Spoiler policy for games I've played before is that still try to be respectful of people in chat who haven't played it and are watching it for the first time. We can talk about upcoming events, but let's try to be as like vague about it as we can. So instead of saying, "Oh man, I'm excited to see what happened," I'm excited to see Darth Vader admit that he's Luke Skywalker's father, just say I'm excited for the crazy reveal that happens in the third act. Right? Okay, Porom, I think I still want to do the healing here. Basically, don't go out of your way to be specific with your spoilers. I think that Jammingway quest takes your tense away. They're so valuable in this game, too. Yes, also you can tell me about augments. Although, preferably I'd like to know before I screw up augments. Because missables stress me out. This is Mount Ordeals. Because I've never played the 3D version of this game before. I've only ever played the original. So this stuff is all new to me. Yeah, I forgot they're in Kingdom Hearts, aren't they? They were pretty critical early on. Having a tent made a big deal. I feel like at the end of the day, it's one of those things, it's kind of like arrows in Zelda. Well, most Zelda games, I guess Breath of the Wild did arrows well, but like, the difference between having... The amount of arrows you have is basically either 0 or 99 in most Zelda games, right? So you may as well just do the Link Between Worlds thing and make them unlimited, but institute a cooldown. I think is the correct solution for most consumable items in games. Tents are the same. It's like either all save points fully heal you, and it's not a problem, it doesn't consume resources, or you get no healing. And it's awful. Augments are new to the 3D version of the game. They weren't in the GBA version or the PS1 version either. Those are both the Japanese version of the game. Actually, FF4. He's not the one doing the hissing. You said his name is Scarmillyoneh, not Scarmiggleyoney. That's probably worse than saying Cecil all the time. Such pleasure I will take and deliver you to the gates of hell. Oarsman who will ferry you beyond the veil. That's, Wait, is Scarmillyoneh like the Italian name for, Karen? I didn't realize it was the same being. It must be the name of the ferryman in Dante's Inferno, which I haven't read in forever. It's so long and dry and boring. Scarmillyoneh. Gotcha. I don't think the boss counts as being undead. I like how there's different camera angles for boss fights. That's kind of neat. They didn't have to do it that way. He does count as being undead. That's convenient. But he counters with magic. So he counters all magic casts. Oh, he just counters everything. Urgh, my flesh. So demon in the 8th circle of hell. Okay. I think all of the 4 fiends are named after demons in Dante's Inferno. I feel like that boss completely fucking destroyed me, kicked my ass when I played it as a kid, but maybe it was just because of Cecil being useless on this mountain. Or me being bad at video games and not knowing which abilities to use on him, you know? I've got a lot of bosses in games, I know, right? Like, I feel like the Axum Rangers I was stuck on for an entire rental cycle when I played Super Mario RPG as a kid, and then I played it on stream and I one-shot them easily. I didn't even really think about it. I guess it was my second JRPG, so I must have been really bad at them. Yeah. I think they made this... I haven't done significant grinding. I did a few minutes of grinding at the very beginning of stream. Bio's pretty good in this game, right? It's technically non-elemental, element agnostic. Oh, jeez, don't die. It's pretty close to the original Bio sound effects. And then Bio has an invisible effect where their health is draining slowly over time. Oh, it's actually marked on the bottom screen now. That's cool. It said they were sapped. I think I could have. You're right, not even. I forgot about that. Also, good job at being vague. I know exactly what you mean. But anyone who hasn't played the game will be like, what the f is he talking about? Oh yeah, loot effects. What was the example? Yeah, I highly advise everybody, first of all, to, if you have any interest in localization translation, to scope out everything that Tomato has ever done. Clyde Mandolin, Legends of Localization. Buy his book, it's outstanding. Read his website. But he has a page that's entirely devoted to FF4, and we're kind of following along with it here and there when something interesting happens. See if I can find his FF4 project here. Oh, where was it? He's basically going through the entire game and comparing every individual translation. Is this it? This might be it. Yeah, here we go. I learned so much from the Earthbound Legends of Localization book. I read it on the flight to Japan, and it's just super fascinating. He goes into all sorts of stuff. He doesn't just talk about Earthbound. Like, usually something will come up in the Earthbound localization, and he'll talk about like 3 other games that have a comparable problem. Here we go. Let's raise Tellah, and then we'll tent again. Tents aren't a complete full heal, right? It's a really big heal. And cabins are a full heal, though. Soon. They have a password in the game. The Japanese name of the game is spelled backwards. Oh. Evac Rats, because that's Cave Story backwards, but there was something else to it being backwards. That might be what I was thinking, that the MP they restore is not all the way. Ah, interesting. Japanese syllable by syllable reverse spelling, so doing it that way was technically wrong. I think they were wise to give Tellah Cura and not Cure at this stage in the game. Cure at this stage is not enough of a heal, especially AoE to matter. It's more syllable-based wordplay. Interesting. True strength lies in death. I always remembered this. I think the first time I finally beat this guy, I did not go save immediately afterward, and had to fight his second phase. I did a pretty good job with that sprite. It's pretty close. Back attack, rude. She's seen his face must die. Yeah, it's nastier looking in the 3D sprite than I imagined it as a kid. I remember Bio being kind of OP in this game. Once you got it, that was actually my trick. I was stuck on the Magus Sisters in this game forever. Oh my god, I was so stuck on the Magus Sisters. And then I'm like, alright, I'm gonna try casting this Bio spell, and it helped a lot. I think I was stuck on them for an entire rental cycle as well. Every feed fight does not take long. I'll have to watch it after a stream, it's really funny. I used to sing these songs to myself when I was sitting waiting for the bus. This one, Attack on the Big Bridge, because I actually did play that on an emulator when I was a kid. I found out about Final Fantasy V in like 95 or 96. I think that lines up with when there was a fan translation for it. Somebody could maybe Google it. I know it was one of the first fan translated ROMs. He is sapped. Everybody's slowed though. Bummer. Tried. Slow wasn't having it. 1485? Oh, he zombifies you? Oh no, he just bad breaths you, basically. Quit being such a dick, dude. It's very rude of you. Right? Watch me actually be zombified. It doesn't show. Okay, I was not. Just meant bad. Good to know. Can't cast any spells. So I need to Echo Herb. I only have one Echo Herb. Yikes. I guess a offense is better than defense at this point. I need to burn him down. I need to buy more status recovery items next time I get an opportunity. Shit. Don't hit Porom, you jerk. At least I already had a heal queued. And he's blinded. I guess I'll eye drops him next turn. Maybe use Porom to eye drops him. Let's see. Oh, I'm about to get screwed again. Oh yeah, they're not screwing around, huh? It's quite a bit harder. Ugh. Oh, I couldn't get Asuna. I forgot that he had Asuna this whole time, too. Well, I could pick him up with Phoenix down, I guess. Alright, who needs healing? So I can't see their health until I start using a healing ability. Let's Asuna Porom first so that she can start helping, right? Did the boss bad breath you like that in the original game? Oh man, that Asuna animation's really close to the first game. Continue to be really impressed by stuff like that. What did I just... Oh, I cast Recall by accident. Bummer. Oh, well, I'll take Firaga. Good job, buddy. He just needed one more nuke that whole time. Unfortunately, he silenced Palom right when he was about to cast last time. We did it! Good job, team. Does bio last forever once cast? Is that how it works? It keeps sapping them indefinitely? I see. Because of the binary status of... Alright, Tellah, Porom, do you have Asuna? You do, and I apparently wasn't paying attention to realize it. Asuna, I think, was just called Heal in Final Fantasy II. And they changed all of the status effect recovery items to just remedies, basically, and I believe they called them heals as well. Sounds familiar, at least. I'm about to do a section that totally blew my mind as a kid. I was like, really? That's what I'm supposed to do? That's crazy. No way. Potions to cure 1, cure 2. So as not to confuse anybody, right? I remember being kind of puzzled by Final Fantasy VI. So they went with tonic instead of potions. I don't think Ted Woolsey had... Well, I guess it would have been the first time they would have been able to call them potions, huh? So I guess Ted Woolsey wouldn't have known better. Phoenix down was F-E-N-I-X. You weren't ready for the concept of high potions. Yeah. That was a really interesting period. Apparently the Nintendo president realized, I want to say around the release of Final Fantasy IV, that RPGs were huge in Japan and they hadn't caught on in the West yet, so he had a lot of ideas to try to get them to catch on, and Earthbound was one of the main ways they tried to do it. FF2 Easy Type was another one. Yeah, it's my first time playing the DS version. Played the Super Nintendo one many times. Son? Whose voice speaks to me? I wonder how explicit they're going to be this time. It wasn't very explicit in the original version, if I recall. This fight was kind of tricky on the Super Nintendo. It may have been a localization error.
I awaited this, the day that you would come. A tragedy unfolds now, which pains me more than you can know. To end it, I will give to you my light. Though in so doing, I condemn myself to sorrow greater still. But the hour is late. No other road remains.
I remember being stuck here on my rental, not knowing what to do.
The time has come. Bid farewell to your blood-stained past. Forsake the darkness you once embraced, or the light will find no hold.
Got a new costume.
Vanquish the Dark Knight. You and he are one no more.
Cool.
There are two of them.
There's two of them.
Look out!
I like more games to do
This is a
this.
fight for me and me alone. My atonement for all the sins I've wrought in my test.
I feel like they picked a voice actor
mean to
based on
fail.
what he sounds like when he's a paladin. He doesn't really change his voice at all in the helmet. Crap, I'm blonde? Music too is cool. Justice and retribution are but trifling things. There are victories of greater worth. Someday you will know them. Go forth now, Cecil. Cecil, shit. Shit. So the trick in that fight is you have to spam defend. You can't attack him. I think you just lose if you attack him, or you can eventually learn. Does it give you a hint eventually?
Very soul. May it be your strength.
Really,
Though
Aki.
it be the
Interesting.
last of my son, you must stop. Golbez.
I always thought that was cool when I was a kid, that they were one of the first memories I have of a game using mechanics to storytell. Like, my favorite forced use of defend is probably Mother 3, but... Hey! He was blonde the whole time. Stop being an edgelord. He's past his... Like, it's like conservation of edgelordiness, right? Like, all of the edgelordiness that was inside of Cecil has now migrated out of him and infested Kain. It's this warmth up feeling so familiar. Tellah sucks less. Sweets, but he can't cast it if I recall, because it costs like 99 MP, and I think the max MP you can have is 98. Okay, yes, thanks, Aki. Please continue to tell me about all augments. Don't let me miss an augment unless if it's like grindy to get. Because there's no way for me to know otherwise. Don't even let me if it's reasonable that I might find it. Just tell me where it is. Oh, that's funny, Aki. Cecil has stopped changing his MSN Messenger names as song lyrics. Crawling in My Skin, featuring Cecil. Guessing it's back in there, maybe? Oh, I guess I can't go back in there, can I? Crossing, the augment will be sparkly. Oh, so most people are going to cast exit to get out of here, basically, and then they'll miss it. How many rooms back is that? Oh, that's right. Cecil's defense blows. I forgot about this. Clearly, Dark Knight's a better tank. I think it's because he starts at level 1, isn't it? Only one back. Okay, thanks. Alright, he's got a holy sword. damage output now also counts as level. It's a neat way to like have him suddenly bump up in level. Talk about a change in job, right? The story of Cecil is the story of Frank Abagnale Jr. Alright, Suna... There we go. I feel like he's one of the only characters whose portrait's worse in this version. Usually the portraits are a little bit... I don't know, I really like those 16-bit portraits on the SNES. I take it back. I liked all of them. He still talks about shit like that. What was he talking about recently? I saw a Reddit thread about some scam. Kuraja? Good lord. I'm not kidding when they give him his MP back. Or give him his abilities back. Yeah, right? I think I liked his model better. The cape was cool, the circlet. Does it catch me if you can? Oh, Hamilton. I still need to see/listen to Hamilton. I've heard that the fact that I haven't been able to like get tickets to a show is not a big deal because there's very little that's in the show that's not clear from the soundtrack. It's not like the Book of Mormon where there's a lot of spoken dialogue independent from the singing. Maybe I should just download it and listen to it at some point. There's no spoken dialogue, it's not part of the soundtrack. Okay. We'll probably find a production of it on the high seas, too. I haven't tried to do that. I know, right, Yukipo? It's really irritating. Like, it seems to be... They simultaneously want it to be part of the popular culture, but it's also ultra elitist in the way seating prices work, and, like, their refusal to ever release a formal, like, cast recording of some of the better shows. I think they haven't done a formal cast recording of Book of Mormon yet, and everybody should see that. It's really good. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I passed the augment? Okay, thank you. Augments always look like shiny things on the ground, basically? I haven't seen Spam a lot either. I love Monty Python though. It was written by Eric Idle, wasn't it? Michael Palin, maybe? Yeah. Well, I remember when Andrew and I got to see Book of Mormon, like, we paid way too much for it. And, because it was in San Francisco, so it's almost as bad as New York. I had to get the tickets like the day they went on sale. It was almost like getting PAX tickets. Oh, jeez. Enemies of use confuse. Now, if I cast Scan on an enemy to learn its weakness, have I unlocked that information for the rest of the game? Or is it only for that battle that it displays in the tooltip at the bottom? Hey, look at that auto cover. Not the best time to be covering there, buddy. Does it have a better ending than Monty Python and the Holy Grail? I love Monty Python, and like part of their big joke was that they hated punchlines, so they refused to end a sketch. And that feels very true in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, or it's just kind of over at some point. Follow the 2 sets of steps. Okay, yeah, no worries. Thanks, Saki. Oh, there's an augment you get for map completion? Oh, God. Okay. Ugh. That's basically Marstead cancer. Okay. Missables in general stress me out, whether I intend to complete the game or not. It is on this map, though. Oh, people do animatics. That might be a good solution. Go with that. There it is. I just listen to him in the car, too. Put Twincast here. Twincast was not in FF2 Easy Type for the Super Nintendo, or did they keep Twin and got rid of Bluff and Cry? I remember being really shocked when I played Final Fantasy IV on the PS1, I think it was, with all the new abilities and changes and stuff, because I had no idea how much they had cut. Oh my god, and the one for map completion is missable? Oh, I want to die. That's awful. Alright, Cecil, get your shit together, buddy. Don't try doing recall. That's free, I think. No. I know, right? Since I already am not going to be doing multiple playthroughs, it's not that bad. Can you stop casting that when I have you do recall, dude? Oh, it does cost his MP. Never mind, it's not free. Definitely no Bluff or Cry. It's one of those Westerners will never understand this mechanic. It's much too complicated. Like they give you a second to cancel auto battle, even if the character's turns are already up. Oh. So these are missable areas that I'm in right now? Curse augment. Oh, it's a curse ability. Interesting. Okay, so you're telling me that... And again, I'm opening up my spoiler policy when it comes to augments because of the cancer missable nature of them. If I give both auto potion and curse to Palom, then I'm going to get the twin ability and bluff. If I give both of them to Porom, I'm going to get the twin ability and... Oh, no, I would need to have 3 to get bluff, or I'm only going to get the twin ability regardless of who I give them to, right? If I had a third one, then I could get bluff or cry, and if I had 4, then I could get dual cast. Oh, I see. I guess I should see what curse actually does. It doesn't tell me here, does it? Bluff if I give any, okay. So then the question is, do I want bluff or cry? Because bluff doubles intelligence, which seems like it's really good for casters. plus. Okay. Well, apparently there's a rule in this game where if you give characters an augment, when they leave your party, they give you a better augment as a reward, basically. And it's your only way to get those, is to basically waste augments on them. I think Bluff is probably better than Cry. But I guess there's more physical attackers in the game. I don't know if having their defense is as good as having double damage from magic. Well, increased input from intelligence on magic, I guess, is more accurate. I'll wait a little bit. I'm just curious whether people think that Cry is better than Bluff. Give them one each. Oh, I see what you're saying now. Sorry. You said auto potion to Porom and curse to Porom, but I think you meant to say one to one and one to the other. Sure. Gotcha. Let's get out of here now. Teleports. Beat it. Now can I see what Curse does now? Reduce all enemy attributes by 20%. Could see that being kind of good, I guess. Right. Makes sense. Hi, Diffident. How you doing? I don't think it does, no. You have a fixed endgame party, is my understanding. Hey, Chocobo. Y'all gonna be less mean to me after I murdered all your friends and family because I've got blonde hair now? You returned successful? They sent me on a suicide mission. Right, I could have pre-bought this gear, but I feel like I remembered the gear being, like, costing more? I think I was thinking of Chrono Trigger, though, and Aki was right, it was a Mandela effect thing. When you go to Magus's town, they sell you stuff, but it's like 9,999 gil each. Put a little Hannah Montana on them. Reverse Hannah Montana. Alright. Wizard's hat. Bag gear. Lustrous shield, lustrous helmet. Knight's armor, gauntlets. Oh, it's so expensive, though. Presumably I can't get any of these for free, right? Plot people with headbands could be evil. Oh, that's really weird. The mobile just as bad as the FF6 remake? Oh, I had other gear I could have equipped him with. I didn't realize that he was naked, basically. Didn't even think to check. Mythgraven Blade. I'm not going to spend the extra money for now. She still put me to sleep? Not gonna turn me into a pig anymore, presumably. She still hates me. Because I didn't want to change that sequence of him, I guess. You still have a thing or two to learn. Okay, fair enough. Go do the rest of these cutscenes as a pig. Basically, is there ever a fight where it's correct to inflict them with pig or frog? Like, are there any bosses that are weak against it? I don't think I've ever gotten away with that. Like I'm missing a kidney. Right. I'll need way more of these. 10 will probably suffice. Oh, I don't want to spend all that much money on cottages. Yeah, but the ailment spell usage in Atlas games feels gross too. Alright, we're gonna get a cool, like, Mr. Saturn coffee cutscene here. I'm interested to see how they do it in this version. Pray for you as well. I didn't think I'd be able to do it either. Set these two along and keep watching you, ensure your intentions are pure. It seems there is no need. Well, now you know. Where did you get that sword? The writing engraved in its blade are the words of a legend passed down in Mysidia. Oh man, it's the song. Birthed from womb of dragon's maw and born into the stars. By light and darkness cast aloft are dreamtide oaths resworn. Talk about improved localization, holy shit. Moon is swathed in everlight, never again to no eclipse. Earth which hallowed bounty reconciled. I haven't played After Years yet. If we do it on stream, it'll be blind. Yeah. Oh, Pink Floyd on me on left to right. Classic arpeggio. All because when limitations breed creativity, because they couldn't do chords on the NES. Classic Final Fantasy theme is an arpeggio. That's me. Oh, he knows Tellah, I guess that makes sense. Meteor. Shattering the ancient seals. Cremitations breed creativity. Yeah. Tellah, if you let hatred drive your thoughts, it'll be your undoing. Meteor would destroy you if you tried to use it now. In an airship. Have to go to Baron. It's really convenient you guys have a teleporter there. I guess they planted it earlier in the game. They mentioned in the opening cutscene, I think. Or at least in the... like when you're in the town. Let us go to... see what we can do. You know, I was great at math and got Tellah to 100 MP for the lulz. Airships are convenient. Is it a spoonerism? You mess up a phrase like that? Aww. Bummer chamber. I'm really impressed at how they were able to adapt certain aspects of the original sprites. Like, as much as I don't like the models in this game... Actually, the only thing I don't like about the 3D graphics, I think, is the character models. Like, the enemy models are great, and the maps are great. Like, This is really close to the original sprite from the Super Nintendo game. It's not even a guaranteed drop. Random one-time thing. Oh, geez. That's unfortunate. So even a lot of the town character models are great. For whatever reason, they decided to, like, rethink the player character models. Let me pop outside and save real quick before we do this. Really? That's funny. Do Somas give you exactly plus 10 MP? Because Tellah learns Meteor and then he's unable to cast it because it costs 99 MP and he only has 90. That's interesting because all the other characters have more MP than that. Gotcha. Were they in the base game, or is that new to this one? I don't remember there being permanent stat boosts, but... Remember FF2 having a limited inventory, which seems like they fixed in this one, right? Dummied in the SNES for okay. Oh, why? They dummied out items that just kind of became random gil when you found them in FF2. That's what he's saying, Ace. Apparently, if you do the weird, like, wort minigame in this one, the DS version, you can earn an item that increases your character's MP by 10. So you can use it on Tellah to give him 100 MP, and now he has enough MP to cast Meteor. I see. Pretty crazy. Crazy stuff. Oh, I forgot about this. This is like the Hall of Tutorial that I forgot to come to last time. Alright, let's go outside. I think I can go to the shop now. I think this shop is way too expensive when you first... Oh no, it's locked, I think is how it works. And it might stay locked until after we finish the event here. I'm gonna see if I can go back and get that third augment. Hey, if you're new to the stream, I'm Marstead, trying to beat every awesome game ever made. I believe there's so many awesome games out there, it's impossible for any one person to play all of them, but that means that we're never gonna run out. If you'd like to see a list of all the games we've played so far, you can go to games.marstead.com. And if you click on the voting tab, you can vote for the next awesome game. Final Fantasy IV is actually on the voting spreadsheet. If it wins the vote, we'll keep playing it until we beat it. But if you're just hanging out or lurking, that's totally cool. Welcome. I might not actually be able to go back for that augment because I think that the Village of Mist is like just destroyed. So if I go through the cave, I can't get through it, right? Is that how it works? I need to get the airship to go back for it. That's too bad. Gotcha. Kaipo is a town. Get it, Porom. Way to not heal the enemy. Like something that you could very reasonably make the mistake of doing over and over and over. See why they changed it so that the healing staff doesn't heal enemies. Y'all are not going to recognize me. You've only ever seen me with a helmet on. Nobody knew I was blonde all along. Okay, I can't get into the front door. I think there's a secret way in through town. King's decrees grow darker by the day, but raise your voice in opposition, you go the way of old Sid. Oh no, what happened to Sid? Not my man. His house is here somewhere, isn't it? Father's been back in the castle in some time. I pray it's something I'm gonna fear something may be amiss. Ouch. Sid's a single dad. That's interesting. It's interesting to me that, like, presumably the weapon and item shop are blocked because you're supposed to come here in the late game. They didn't want you to grind for money outside to buy the stuff that they sell. I already talked to her. Sure. Is there anything there? If you go back to Mist at this point? I thought it was just rubble. Like there was a... It looked like mountain on the world map, but I might be remembering incorrectly. Oh. It's interesting. Dancing Dagger and item lore. What does Dancing Dagger do? Does it cast a dance like FF5? You have to buy a Dancing Dagger. Okay. Flying Eyeballs are a classic Final Fantasy monster. Again, that it always hits, or that it always, like, it does a random amount of damage, so you can get a really high roll and win. Clearly forgotten how to get back into Baron. I think my return to Baron would be like this. I thought it had to do with finding Sid in his house and like taking a back secret entrance to get in, but I must be misremembering. I'll look more in the town. I thought maybe his thought bubble would give me a clue. Okay, well the inn stay costs money, so that can't be what we're supposed to do. Always hits. Oh, here we go. I think this is progress. I just finished this greatest airship yet, but he refuses to tell where he's hidden it. Hey, it's Yang! And as a traitor to the Kingdom of Baron sees him, what? Getting double betrayed. Check under the mat. These enemies look so much like their original sprites, they actually kind of stand out and looking silly compared to the party members. But like I said, I prefer it. Counter pig? What? That doesn't make any sense. What makes them impossible at scaled stats? It's Hammy. I feel like that stuff works better with reduced chat delay. I know you well, blackguard. This is apparently how you pronounce that word. It's not pronounced blackguard. An old Englishy thing. Die, curs. Why are we fighting, buddy? We're like best buds. Oh god, I hope his kick isn't as buff as it is when we have it in the party. It's Cecil, and I'm no enemy. Furaga. I'm not sure. I think it's always supposed to be pronounced blackguard. I'll look it up. Yeah. If you Google blackguard, the only pronunciation it gives is blackguard. I always pronounce it because it's like an evil paladin, basically, right? Alright, Yang has been thoroughly wrecked. Attacked by Leviathan. Baron is taking advantage of your amnesia. We just had to kick the shit out of you to make you get over it. Forgot that you fought Yang. See if we can find a room. Hey. Keep tossing Pig and Mini at you, hit for massive damage and have massive HP. I see. Violence solves all problems. No need for coin. Oh shit. Free plot stay at the end. I like how I just talked to him 2 minutes ago. I guess he's like, oh, you fought the soldiers. Monk of Fabul. Please forgive my brother's lack of manners. Rescue Sid, huh? A master key. I like how, I don't know, I guess I've been unclear on how much time is meant to have passed between the shipwreck and you getting back to Baron, because I always interpreted it as being like a day or two max. Maybe it's expected that Cecil spends a long time on Mount Ordeals or something. Yang goes pretty quickly from being an amnesiac Fabulian monk to like being a trusted guard with a master key. Oh, they still make you use the item. I feel like that's incorrect game design. Like, it's not a huge problem, but there's only ever one option for a prompt like that. It's not really an interesting puzzle. It should just auto-unlock using what's in your inventory, I think. See, I got my own musical inclinations. Singing way? Jammingway, okay. Alright, later, Robin. Thanks for hanging out. Nice seeing you in Discord. I hear you on time zones. Oh, that's cute. Prologue I like a lot. Somebody doesn't only play songs that I've heard. Oh, no. Wow, well, spoilers, game. Jeez. Maybe give this to me at the end? It was a pretty cool Calcabrino fight in Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, I think like in a lot of cases, which to use is not a genuine puzzle. And even then, in a lot of cases, it's a degenerate mechanic. There can be an obvious answer, or where there's no penalty to try everything, you know? It's the adventure game brute force problem, right? What? I didn't do that right now if it's available. No, it must be PC only. Bummer. I'd prefer to do the orchestral version. Oh, but you mean when I'm talking to him for the Jammingway stuff? Mode. No, mode is bummer. Mode is Final Fantasy. So there's a lot of little things like this in DS and 3DS games where it's like, assuming that somebody just has their DS with them, using it to listen to music. It's really odd. I guess everybody had a DS and a 3DS in Japan, bringing them with them on the train and stuff, but... yeah, right. What? Can we think of another game that has a competing number of total versions? And not even just, like, availability on different platforms, but just different features, different basic gameplay. Is RE4 really different in all of its different versions? Oh, even Tetris is basically the same game. Final Fantasy 1, yeah. Played Dawn of Souls. I guess the door's not technically locked. Okay. Yeah, not just ports, is what I meant to say. Because, like, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 4 Easy Type, the GBA and PS1 versions are probably as close to being a straight port, but even they have a bunch of differences, like being able to have different party members at the end game. Oh, I thought 1 and 2, I thought you could get all the Final Fantasy games on Steam. You can't right now? Interesting. 1, 2, and Tactics are the only ones that are missing. Huh. It's really weird. What's the definitive version? Is it, I like this way of telegraphing that there's a secret passage, having the chest show up on the map. I think I still missed a secret passage earlier, but... Is Dawn of Souls, or is it like the Wonder Swan version? It's super weird that there's a Wonder Swan version. Alright, so this is a dungeon that I mentally deleted. I don't know if it was because it was miserable. We said this during Kingdom Hearts, but Final Fantasy IV is a game that's, like, greater than the sum of its parts. I love this game, but I think I hate every part of it. Every level I'm like, oh god, this place. Oh god, this place. Oh god, this place. Oh, I should go get 2 of each claw. Double lightning claws. Stop hitting me so hard. Do a better job of covering people, Cecil. GBA or PSP. Okay. Why would you say that? What makes either of those particularly good? GBA is Dawn of Souls, right? PSP is almost exactly the same, if not exactly the same. You got a lot of hit points. Place to level up Cecil, I guess. Hey, Isla, how you doing? Sorry. Trash. What's my homeowners association? How the hell are people supposed to... Okay, whatever. Homeowners associations. Some people's kids. I do not know why there's still a thing. Maybe my generation will finally kill them. They pay money to get hassled. I mean, I guess theoretically the reason that they're a thing is so that you can keep the price of your value of your house up by not having a neighbor who, like, leaves trash in their front yard or something, but still. Intent versus implementation. Aristocratic and racist reasons. Yeah, exactly. What's that? No. Abolish homeowners associations. They have enemies that are strong against that. Not cool. Dead consume a turn. Okay, good to know. Wait, did they just die on their own eventually? Oh, it's sap that's killing them from bio. Okay. Unfortunately, we weren't able to avoid it here. $3,000 a year. Yeah, right. I'd rather my property be worth less too, and I feel like... Do you feel like the difference in value created by not having an HOA? First of all, it makes your house less attractive to people who are looking to buy it, so that gets in the way. And second of all, if you think about the total amount that you spend in HOA dues over the life of the loan versus the total difference in home value when you sell it, I bet you it's comparable. So yeah, so let's abolish HOAs. Leave me alone. And we got out here, and I said, hey, we kept getting emails where the HOA people were complaining about our local post office screwing up deliveries, like putting mail in the wrong boxes. So I sent them a mail because Kat and Donovan were coming to move out with us, and I said, hey, can you update the little piece of paper in our mailbox that says Zeno and Albert to say Zeno, Albert, and Price to help the mail guy out? And they're like, they sent me this giant form that I had to fill out and said it would cost $100, and they refused. Shut up, guys. I'm trying to make this easier for you. If you want to bitch about it, that's fine. Yeah, so I am technically in a condo. This wall behind me, which doesn't actually look like this. Oh, Jam, it's not real! It used to be real, but it's too difficult to keep it set up and not constantly knock everything down. This wall behind me is technically shared. Fortunately, I've never hurt our neighbors ever. Right, so ultimately I think that the benefit of like not having to deal with lawn care and snow and fixing stuff is nice, but it's like you have all the bad parts of that with an HOA and none of the good parts. Like if something breaks, if my furnace breaks, I can't call my landlord and have them come fix it. I still have to fix that shit. But that would totally be the case if it worked more like having a landlord. Daga might be overkill. I gotta track his NP. His total NP is kind of trash. Right, Aki? Exactly. Our neighbors are pretty cool. I actually went over there and asked them, I told them about my drum set when we moved in. I'm sure they would tell me if it was ever too loud, but the walls are apparently pretty thick. It's apparently really difficult to get anything that's not a a condo with shared walls here just because of the way they built the town during the Manhattan Project. Hey! And they can't build anything new because everything around here is either government land or reservation land or filled with nuclear material or being used for explosives testing. Nice. Thundara. Get a discount. Right? The apartment we were living in before we bought this house and Andrea's manic phase was, I think there was a bunch of plutonium buried out in the gorge behind it. Because we had our environmentalist friend tell us that. Not really dangerous though, you get more radiation dose from a banana. Hey. You mean a lawsuit win? Get yourself some mesothelioma. You or your loved ones. He just instant killed a couple of them for some reason, and I'm not clear why. Five, 555 now. That's 555, 555. Look at all this plutonium I've had stashed away. Pretty good. Spent plutonium that's buried underground gives off less radiation from being near where it's buried than a banana. Hey! I completely deleted this map from my memory. I see that it's B4. I just need to have a dungeon before a boss fight. Mentally I was like, alright, let's go do the boss. Oh, right, there's a thing here. Oops. Before you go to Baron Castle, there's this big dungeon, so it's like between taking the Serpent Road, the Devil's Road, from Mysidia, and talking to the King of Baron and all the stuff that happens with that. You have to go through like a 4-level dungeon. Because sometimes I think about how far of a drive something is and I accidentally mentally delete a giant section of road. Oh yeah, it's like 5 minutes down the road. No, it's 20 minutes. We gotta go fight Joan Calamezzo. Oh, shit. That's confusing. I do not have enough MP for this level. I need to get out of here and buy some new claws for Yang. Change it up depending on what we're fighting. I think there's only one enemy that resists lightning in here. Regularly missed map completion. Is there an accessible in the endgame? I think I've gotten all the maps so far. I don't think there's any I've missed. It's not permanently missable. Zot and Fabul. Okay. Can you return to the Mountain of Ordeals? I'm gonna warp out of here real fast because I very badly want to make sure that Yang can practically win. Oh, I can't. Shit. Well, I like how Tellah learning all the magic kind of lets you know what you can look forward to. Warp is different from teleport. So they added something to Final Fantasy XIV recently called Eureka, and it's supposed to be nostalgic content for Final Fantasy XI, so it has a lot of kind of cancerous old MMO mechanics to make you remember what FF11 used to be like. Something they didn't do, so in Final Fantasy XI, there was a class called Black Mage, which shouldn't be surprising, but they had a spell called Warp that you could cast on other party members, and it would send them back to their home point. And it was often the only way to get back to your home point was to have somebody else cast Warp on you. So I often made money as a Black Mage, just like standing in super dangerous areas and warping people so they didn't die and lose all their experience in D-level. Super cancer. Surprised they didn't like add it to Black Mages in 14. Well, it's not hard, it's just dumb. Cancer not in an extreme difficulty perspective. I would check it out. I mean, it's awful. I kind of enjoyed it, actually, despite it being awful, because it actually was nostalgic for me. I was like, oh yeah, this is just like how bad FF11 was. Man, this game's really good. They don't give it enough credit for not being like this most of the time. Yeah, there's silver armlet. Why is the armor so expensive in this game? I don't remember that being the case. Right. No, I agree, Chocobo. So it's a double-edged sword, and it's really kind of a bummer. So, like, back in the day in World of Warcraft, if you wanted to summon the coolest demon, you had to get a party of people and then sacrifice a party member. Like, the party member had to die. And it's a pretty cancerous mechanic. But it's so cool, right? It makes that job feel so different from every other class you can play as. So I think that when you move towards making homogeneous game design, it gets more balanced, it gets less cancer, but you're definitely always losing something. And it's something that I feel is almost unique to MMOs, where your time spent playing it is at such a premium. Like, adding fast travel to MMOs, Final Fantasy XIV, you can warp everywhere. Like, it's super convenient, and I enjoy it from a QOL perspective, but back at 11, I have these really cool memories of having to, like, carefully sneak my way across the entire game world to get to a city at an earlier level before my player was able to fight the monsters on the route. Like, and that was such a neat, basically irreplaceable experience. I don't think anyone's gonna make an MMO again that doesn't have some form of fast travel. Lots of spam. Person trying to teleport you. Just a kick, because it's super OP in this game. You almost always feel that, like, quality of life features are, always positive. There's nothing can ever go wrong with adding a quality of life feature. But in most MMOs, I feel like they tend to be a trade-off. There's only a few MMO mechanics that are just flat, always add this, it's always going to be a good thing. You're never going to lose something by adding it, you know? You're only going to get it in small game experiences, right? Yeah, and that's another interesting problem about MMOs, is that just by nature of their design, there will never be an indie MMO, right? Which is too bad. Like, I would love to exist in a world where that could happen. Find some publisher that specifically reaches out to indie devs and gives them the resources they need. Really? I guess I should say there's never going to be an indie MMO that reaches the player base of the big AAA company MMOs, I should say. Right, like I played a tiny little MMO that had maybe 1,600 players at peak. Most of my childhood, as soon as we had 56K modem. So you could call that indie. Because like you have games like Cuphead that have a comparable number of total players to Call of Duty, right? Where the indie scene is able to be very competitive with the AAA developers. So much work and not enough people. That sounds really hard. I still need to try old school RuneScape. Is that something you're going to put on your whenever you get up to a 24-hour sub-block chaos? Ha 24 hours of 2007 Scape. I might need to turn the combat speed down, which I almost never do, but I feel like I'm getting pretty punished by the ATB switching between characters. Maybe I'll take it down one notch. I generally like it being faster, but... Is the non-old school version even any good? I guess not if they went ahead and released the old school version. I turned voices off. I'll leave them on. I'm not used to it. Spider Silk. Really? That's interesting. They're still adding mild quality of life features, right? They just like pull the player base on all of them. Sometimes there's a problem because they'll like hold them on multiple interdependent features. A rise is re-raise, right? Is that the official name for it now? Overwatch was supposed to be a new MMO. It's Project Titan, right? And then partway through they repurposed it. I still feel like they have the potential to make a PvE game with Overwatch's engine and its characters. They've done a couple events that are basically that. That could be super cool. I'm actually really bummed that Overwatch isn't an MMO. It has a really cool setting and lore. Maybe they're just making it and they're like, this is too good to have the cancer that comes with MMO design. Let's make it into a different kind of game. Missed a few alligators. Why, did they drop something special? That's like the defining characteristic of RuneScape, right? I haven't played it, but I see it pop up on Reddit often enough to perceive that it's like grinding the game. Single player campaign would be cool, yeah. Play as all the different characters. Have they committed to ever capping the number of heroes in the game? Or are they intending to keep adding them indefinitely? I mean, either's cool. Yeah, it can be fun sometimes. I mean, I feel like that's kind of what that's the experience you're getting in idle games, right? I don't mean to present it as grinding the game as like that's necessarily a negative thing. Sometimes you want that experience. Yeah, I can hear that still. Oh, that's cool. Membership in RS3 also carries over to Old School RuneScape. Yeah, Diablo 3 is actually a really good example of how quality of life features can have a really detrimental effect on the game. Like, we all look at the auction house right now, and it seems so obvious with hindsight what a bad decision that was for Diablo. But I was clamoring for it back when I was playing Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 was first announced. Like, the trading bartering system of D2 felt like it was awful back in the day. At this point, I don't know, how do you even make Diablo 2? Like, I guess, Path of Exile has effectively done it, but Path of Exile has a lot of problems because of how close it is to Diablo 2. Sometimes you'd have to, like, purposefully sacrifice a lot of lessons of modern game design. I mean, maybe you can do to Diablo 2 what, like Wolfenstein and Doom have done for the first-person shooter that doesn't have regenerating health, right? They've rethought how to do health pickups in a way to make it an interesting and compelling game mechanic. It's probably gonna take a developer coming up with an idea that I just never considered, right? There's a lot of innovations in Hand of Fate 2 compared to Hand of Fate 1 that I didn't even realize needed to be there. Whether I ran into them, like, oh yeah, that was totally a problem that needed to be solved. Cool. Right. I get a lot of experiences where... So the thing that happened to me with Eureka, for example, Eureka is a very grinding, heavy... probably comparable to Old School RuneScape. It's like you're constantly getting these dopamine hits so long as you're getting closer to finally maxing everything out, and then the instant you max everything out, your brain just like collapses. It gets into this, well, what now? And then you just stop and totally lose all interest. A lot of grinding experiences are like that for me in different games. Where it's like you can really hold my attention hardcore, but it takes very little for me to just drop it entirely. Paperclip train. Yeah, Paperclips is great. I hope we see more idle games like Paperclips. It had a couple... It was only developed by one guy, so it wasn't terribly well balanced, but I like the idea of an idle game that has a story and which is beatable, that doesn't just continue progressing into bigger and bigger numbers indefinitely. Cookie Clicker kind of has a story, like we could play it until we beat it at some point on stream. I wonder if we ever did idle games on stream, how I'd go about pulling that off. It would be like trying to do Animal Crossing, right? You can't really do a 4-hour Animal Crossing session. Oh, that's cool, Aki. What does restarting do? A. Oh, come on, I hope I didn't miss any corners in this room. Oh, no ascension mechanics, okay. What I might do is I might try to time, like, games like Animal Crossing and idle games to be played at the same time. So, like, start Cookie Clicker, go do your dailies in Animal Crossing, come back to Cookie Clicker. Tellah's almost out of MP, so hopefully we get a save point to rest at soon. What happens? Sorry. Mute my desktop here. Laptop. Come on, 100%. Oh, thank God. I really didn't want to go hunting on this map for a missing pixel. I only really had to do that on the first ever map. It was a bad introduction to the map completion system. Or maybe it taught me to make sure I cover every area. Top everybody off here. It's a regular cure. Should be enough, I think. Oh. Not much. Oh no, he's still casting Kandara. We should be okay. No, I haven't. Dividend. What kind of game is it? Sorry. We're applying to, we're working on getting Kat and Donovan housing out here in Los Alamos. And they're applying for Section 8, which is income-controlled housing, because neither of them work at the lab, which is where most people work in town. That's why the cost of living is so much higher here. And they came back and said that they make $2,000 a year too much to qualify, which doesn't agree with the math that we did, so I'm trying to ask for more info to figure out what's going on. Roost, not Roost. Terraforming game based around deities. So, is it like an idle game, or is it like, Animal Crossing? What made you think of it? Thank you. It's like, we meet the spirit of your law, alright. The problem with a lot of those limitations, too, it's like, they can often be a disincentive to... It's really hard. It's a hard system to design. Because on the one hand, you want to prevent abuse of the system, but it also means that people that are on the margins get unfairly punished. You're saying, it's like, okay, so I should go get a job that pays less. Because I can do the math on how much I would save in rent at this controlled income housing location. Oh, I see. A game with time limits, you'll use between cookie clicker. Oh, that's messed up, Bucky. That's super messed up, actually. Wow. I had that happen, that's basically what happened to me. That's why I wasn't able to attend college, because my FAFSA required me to include my parents' income, which, first of all, they wouldn't have been able to contribute even if they had the money and they wanted to. It wouldn't have been possible. And second of all, their income looked inflated because they had filed for bankruptcy and like 60% of their wages were being garnished. But there was no way on the FAFSA to specify that. So it said, oh, your parents have to contribute X, $40,000 or some gigantic number before you can get any financial aid. And it's like, they're not, if anything, I'm helping them out. Like, come on, guys. Yep. Same thing happened when they moved out here. They applied for SNAP when they got here, and it helped a lot. And then, like, the second Donovan got a good job, they were gone. It's like, you start to want to do the math on, like, well, how much money was I getting out of SNAP? And is it worth losing that and having to work and then having to find daycare for my kid? I mean, fortunately, I've been helping with daycare. I watch Cameron in the morning. It's a very, 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 very difficult problem to solve. There's not one right answer. Which I'd like there to be. Nope, let's go the other way. I gotta find a save point. Right. And then, without veering too far into political quarantine, part of the frustrating thing is this makes it really hard for people to have any kind of empathy for folks that are in that position. Like, people go on and on and on about how, oh, it's smart to not pay your taxes. If you can find a loophole to not pay your taxes, then you would be stupid not to do it. But they don't look at somebody who does that math and says, why should I work? If I don't work, I can take care of my kids and not pay, X $100 a month for daycare. That's equally smart, right? But at the same time, it's not, it's a why don't they just thing. Like, there's no trivial solution to the problem. I only do 1 damage on a minion. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. People cannot escape their own perspectives. Try as they might. Or not try, as they mightn't, which turns out to be in those cases. Well, I had people be like, oh, I know what it's like to be poor. Like, when I was in college, I had to eat ramen. It's like, that is not the same thing. I appreciate you trying. And I think that attitude, which I have, and I feel like I have justifiably about people that have grown up from a privileged perspective, is also really unfair, because it kind of tells the person that's grown up privileged, you don't get to have an opinion, right? And that's not true. It's like, you can have an opinion, but your opinion needs to be calibrated in a certain way, right? The knowledge that... I do remember this chest for some reason. Let me save, though, before I go get it, in case I get into a battle and die. See if I picked up any chests. I think that further widens the divide, where someone can kind of almost reasonably say, you don't get to have an opinion on this. Oh, I don't have any tents because, that's really frustrating. This Jammingway took them all. I think there's a weapon in this chest, not a tent. I need a tent, like, really badly right now. I think this sword inflicts sleep? Why do I remember this and not this whole dungeon? Inflicts curse. Huh, it's actually a downgrade. There's a stupid quest where Jammingway, like, says, hey, can you sell me a tent? I'll give you a fair market price. And you're like, yes. And he's like, oh, you're gonna give me all your tents. That's cool. And he gives you 300 gil. What a dick. At this point, I need one so badly, I think I have to exit the dungeon. I don't think I have another option. I can't blow through my ethers, because this is one of those games where ethers are super expensive. I mean, I guess if I do it... if I do it, I'll get more XP on the way in, and it'll make the game easier later on, so I don't get into a position where I'm dying. But does that sword get better? Oh, mistranslated. It was retranslated to Mythgraven Blade. Okay. Agent's just a curse proc. Do I want to risk having no MP? I guess I could try going into Baron and see if there's a place for me to heal for free in there. There might be. There might be like a pot or something that I can interact with, which made no sense when we saw it at the beginning of the game. We were at full resources the whole time we're there, but now it makes sense that it's a dungeon. Yes. Right, disability. My parents are both on disability, and they're exactly in that situation. We've had to be really careful to try to plan out what happens because they're living with my grandmother who's taking care of them in Arkansas. And we gotta be really careful what happens when she passes to make sure they don't get completely screwed by it. Recall's gonna yell at me and say, you don't have enough MP. Just have to get away with just spamming kick here. And hope my DPS characters don't get minied. Does more damage against ghouls? Heal and ceaseless bed. Okay, thanks. Just so I don't have to run all the way through this dungeon again. We'll get in the butt. Can you not, dog? Mallet. Mallet recovers mini because of a Japanese myth, right? That's featured in Okami. I guess what Japanese myth isn't featured in Okami? You can still use Thunder Rod, which might be... Tellah might be able to use it. I think he has a rod equipped as well. Magical shrinking hammer, I think it was. I like the new custom mini models for shrunken enemy characters instead of it just being a stick figure. If you've ever designed like a 16 by 16 sprite, turns out there's not a lot of room for detail in there. It's often pretty shocking what they're able to pull off. Some of those Actually, I think the battle sprites and the FF6 sprites are 16 by 24, but still, it's a small space. Just have to know where Cecil's bed is so you don't go the wrong way and end up in a boss fight instead. Yeah, about that. Good try. I don't think you get into random battles in Baron Castle, do you? I missed one earlier, no one caught it, sir. If you want to proc it again. Did I spell DeMille wrong, too? I didn't stop to look it up. I thought there were little magic pots in here that heal you to full and recover all your MP and HP. Cecil B. DeMille. I said it again. The guy's name is... There's definitely no question about that one. Cecil B. DeMille. Magic pots for Damsian. Okay, gotcha. That was my first time ever seeing the name when I was a kid, and I said it that way in my head so many times. It's gonna take a lot of work for me to break the habit. Cecil. We got our full heal. Hey, Titus is actually correct, so... Titus. Ugh. Ugh. No, it's literally not correct because of the way Japanese works, but whatever. It fits the water theme. Cloud, squall, laguna, rain, guy with tail, Titus. It's Baigan. It's like he joins your party and you're like, sweet, Wait, I don't have 6 people in my party. Japanese name is Cheetah. Monster stench. Oh yeah, it's a complete relocalization. They actually, like, tried this time. That's the main reason I'm wanting to play this version, is to see the new localization. It was pretty close to the original sprite, once again. Oh god, that hurt really bad. Blind and poison, or you just poisoned them? No, Spoony Bard they kept. Like, the localization team was aware of the cultural significance of Spoony Bard. I think Spoony Bard has been in every localization of this game, right? It's never said, like, you bastard. Or something similar. Tornado? I don't remember that being in the original game. Is it Tita? Counter reflects. Aww. Shit. Well, that's about to end badly. Who's gonna get nuked by my already queued up spell from Tellah? Great. My one other character with raise. How many Phoenix Sounds do I have? 5? Ooh. Do have Reflect, right? So I reduced my ability to group heal the party, which I kind of need to do first. Shit. Kiraja costs 40. Kiraga costs 18. Can twin cast abilities be reflected? I don't think so, right? I guess Tellah's blinded, who cares? Maybe cast Protect though, start reducing some incoming damage, or Blink. Hey, if you're new to the channel, I'm Marstead. I'm trying to beat every awesome game ever made. I believe there's so many awesome games out there, it's impossible for any one person to play them all. Does that mean that Reflect wore off if he just cast Haste on himself? Let's see. If you'd like to see a list of all the games we've played on stream so far, you can go to games.marstead.com. And if you'd like to see how you can vote for the next awesome game, this game's actually on the voting spreadsheet and will be played to completion once we beat it. Click on the voting tab at the bottom of that spreadsheet. I'll tell you how to do it. But if you're just hanging out or lurking, that's totally cool. This is a zero obligation channel. He cast Reflect on me. What a dummy. What a big dummy. I think he's still bioed, right? Yeah, Sep. I can target different arms. I don't remember what the value in doing that is. It matters. Come on. Target. There you go. Good job. Reflect wears off eventually, right? Let's see. Be careful with my cast here. I'm gonna try slowing him since he hasted himself. Come on. There you go. I don't think I knew about that tactic when I was playing Final Fantasy II as a kid. Probably made the Magus Sisters so hard. It worked. The whole party's gonna get reflected in the meantime. Thanks. Sweet. I think casting a black magic spell off of a reflect actually increases the damage it does too, right? Or am I making that up? I think you can cast reflect on your entire party and get that benefit if I recall correctly. If your whole party has reflect on them. Not quite there. Die soon. He has reflect, so I'll try casting Cure. Before Tellah dies from sap. That's not who I guess I have to use some high potions. Let's try that. Bravely Default speedrun is dependent on casting reflect on everybody. Oh, what's happening? Oh. My bad. Thought the game froze for a second. I was mistaken. There goes one of his arms. Oh god, which one's Palom and which one's Porom? Palom is... oh, they've got health bars above their heads, okay. I feel like there's a noted lack of effort in adding more information to the bottom screen, despite there being tons and tons of, like, screen real estate down there. Like, when I'm targeting characters, I feel like the cursor should also be selecting them down there and showing me everyone's max HP and max MP. Whatever. Oh, buddy friend, good. Keep the kicks coming. Now he's out of MP. In that case, go back to Tellah. Oh, his body's weak against ice, so let's use that. Everyone's a wizard. Cast Reflect on your party, then cast Lightning on yourself. Watch everything die. Cool. Let's see. What are you doing on health right now? High Potion Tellah again. Well, Blizaga's cast time's pretty long, gotcha. Weakness. You don't say. Oh, I guess both of them. Oh, you only had 117 hit points left. No kidding. Fight's actually kind of hard. Yikes. So I gotta go all the way back outside to the other save point. Thanks for the heads up about Cecil's bed. I would have totally walked into that boss fight because I forgot it was there. Confuse. Shouldn't be so quick to trust people. Yeah, I know, right? Cecil has now had... we need to make a betrayal counter for this game. Maybe not. I don't remember if there's too many betrayals after that one, but we're already at like 3. Sudden but inevitable. Let me grab these chests real fast since I got the master key. Could I have technically got these at the beginning of the game and I just missed them? I don't remember this area of the castle at all. got a tent, thank God. They do this interesting thing where you kind of get a free period to go backtrack to the last save point, and there's not an immediate save point afterward, and I think it's the source of a lot of my anxiety and why I play so unnecessarily cautiously in RPGs. So I feel like the modern game design thing to do is to give you a save point almost immediately after the boss, but then you've got Scarmillyoneh. Scarmillyoneh. I see. Other castles, other chests in the castle you couldn't get because of guards. Sounds right. Oh wait, did I go the wrong way? Okay, I totally did. Okay. Can I sleep in anybody's bed? Because that would be great. Let's see why not. I'm Cecil, Master Stuff Doer. Oh, it's the tower is separate in that little side building. Alright, so let's rest in the bed, go back to the save point, save, come back to the bed, rest, and then go talk to Joan Calamezzo. This bed is owned by someone else. I love, like, Skyrim to code each bed as belonging to a person requires work, right? They're like, no, that's not reasonable. It's not reasonable to sleep in someone else's bed. But like the things you can do in that game. No, but you can wait for 36 hours in front of someone and they're not going to question you. Come on. Oh, right, the dungeon. We gotta go ask the Wolfman, break him out, so we can recruit Mog. Will hidden chests that are accessible through secret passages always be visible on the map in this game, or are there sometimes secret passages that you can't see that way? I got to the water. I think it's down and then left and then up. Yeah, there we go. Chests are always visible, okay. That's your way to know, hey, there's a secret passage here. And the maps don't have variable zoom levels either, I don't think. Save. Sure. So if like the hidden exit takes you someplace that doesn't have a chest, you might not be able to find it. Oh, hidden exits separately? Let me see. Like those little red door indicators. I wonder why they don't use them here, for example. It'd be really convenient with how many places you can go in Barren Castle. I did not get any random battles in that path, so I don't need to say I don't need to go rest again. Move along. Although this might end up just being a good stopping point. I went 4 minutes over last time, but I also wasted 4 minutes looking for cat poop on this stream, so... Since it's already uncovered instantly, they didn't consider it since. Was thinking of Damson. The healing pots. Yeah, oh, for sure. Now I remember what's north of this main hall here, so I'll try to look for treasure, and I could probably get away with quick saving. Still, Nintendo portable games need to have a quick save because people have lives and need to do things. But we don't care if we limit your save points. So this is a good one. There's got to be a secret passage here. I think this game is going to win the vote. Well, I guess we'll see. There's a couple people that have a lot of SP that are invested in it winning, and it currently has 1,500 votes as of today's bonus stream. So it very likely could win Wednesday morning. Is when the next threshold is being called, by the way. If you were invested in it. That was a pretty boring treasure hoard. What do unicorn horns do? Cast shell or something? Oh. Alright, never mind. I didn't know there was a game that had a remedy that affected the whole party. Bum 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 bum. It's props to the soundtrack that I haven't been distracted by the soundtrack like I was in Final Fantasy X's remaster. It's different, but it's pretty close to the original for the most part. Oh, it might include a dispel as well. That'd be nice. An unseen force blocks the passage? That's pretty weak, game. Come on. Because they couldn't come up with any reason for that to be blocked. Maybe have the staircase be locked or something? Oh, I guess you can't lock the staircase. Unseen force. The plot blocks you from progressing. Final Fantasy 13 is so linear. Not like the rest of the series. It is. So. Right. Yeah, right. But don't open this, magical black box yet musical theme thing. Alright, that's a good stopping point. Do not turn the power off. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks everybody, as always, for hanging out. I'll let you know what's coming up next.